Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is at your time. Good to have you in there. What's going on, the usual suspects? Good to see you all in there. I'm going to do some audio testing as we always do. Make sure she's good. Make sure we're live. So, until I hear this thing, I've got a little bit of lag time, so. Let's see here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is working, alrighty. Just want to check that. Make sure we're good here. Like I said, all the usual suspects are in the house. Into Hizu. Let's see here. Scare a few people. What's up? There we go. Oh, yeah. What is happening, everybody? Everybody's in there. I see Mimi, Renee Cruz, Mike Knapp. Oh, yeah, Noodles, what's going on? False disclosure 818. Said something about that. Chris tagged you in a IG and a Twitter. Found a down, I guess it's supposed to be down 10, I guess. Done 10? Not sure what that says, but cool. Let's see. Ricardo Petrazzi's in there. What's going on, Ricardo? Good to have you in there. Like I said, Mike, it's good to have you in there. Josh D's in the house. Let's see. Renee Cruz. Talking about that. Josh D said, hello, Chris. Thanks for the vids. Love them and spend some time on them. Oh, yeah. Some of them things have got some really good details on. You got to really pay attention to those. Like I said, a lot of them, you guys know that. I mean, if you glance over a photo, how much can you see? Unless it's really standing out like a sore thumb, you really can't see it, right? But when you really start to take your time with these rocks, or some things that they just boom, start to pop, and then you start to see them a whole lot easier, right? H-Strauss1AV, good to have you in there. You said, hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. John Beck's in there. What's going on, John? Third Eye Opens in there. Let me see. David Clark, what's happening, David? So, greetings all and Chris, he says. Oops, I love when this thing does this. Thank you, Kyle Harvey. Appreciate it, brother. Much appreciated. Number one fan with the dancing pair. That thing always gets me giggling here. I don't know why, it just does. But I appreciate it, brother. I do. Oh, man. MG Toes in there says, thumbs up, everyone. At least our thumbs, we got the 3 thumbs down already. Awesome. Good to see you guys in there as well. Jay Rocco, what's happening? He says, newbie here. Well, good to have you in there, Jay. Welcome aboard. Hope you subscribed. Josh Jones is there. Sup? Let's see. Valerian the Mac 3. What's up? Mars the Second Genesis is in there. Adam the Martian's in there. What's going on, everyone? What's going on, gentlemen? Good to see you in there. Juxtabilly's in there. Oh, yeah. Great for all. Hello from Southern Ontario. What's going on, Great for all? Kyle. Hey, Chris, if everybody drove like me, you would not even have traffic. You'd be surprised. I might be the same way. Alrighty. Michael Mertes, what's happening? Good to have you in there. Oh, yeah. John McDonald's in there. I know this thing skipped on me. Because like I said, you scroll down, all of a sudden the whole thing just goes right to the top. You're like, okay. So you don't know how many you missed in between, which is just awesome. Pete Ferrero's in there. What's going on, Pete? Yeah, I heard something about that, Pete. He said Mars copter having malfunction just when we get pictures. Imagine that. Imagine that. VP Vandenberg, what's going on? Awakened Souls is in there. What's going on, Awakened Souls? I'm going to just call you TC by the simplest thing. He said, Chris, what do you think about Elizondo? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know if this is just a part he's playing in this. Now, we'll get into that a little bit more because I'm sure you guys, most of you guys have probably seen Tyler's new video from Secure Team 10 where he's talking about, he thinks it's a giant hoax. And it's nothing I haven't said in my last one where I said, since when does a UFO have a strobe light on the bottom of it like an average airplane? And if you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about as far as like when they had that plane coming down. Thunderfoot. Now, I'm familiar with him because I used to follow him way back in the day. And he had a part of his, like an excerpt of his video in his video. And he's saying that how you can see a plane coming in, and it's some kind of either guy wire or something like that. But anyway, you can see the plane coming down. They change it over infrared, and all of a sudden it looks like this disc type thing floating around. It has like this energy field around it, and it's so. What's really going on here? Maybe Dr. Stephen Gray was right when he said, you know, there's going to be a great hoax coming. I think we're seeing it. This invasion. Think about it. They're talking about, oh, you know, now this could be faked. Well, if it's a big stage being put on, big stage show going on, and yeah, these UFOs are coming out of nowhere. We're going to investigate it. Maybe this is part of it already started, guys. You know? So I don't know what to make of him. I don't know if he's just a puppet for all of this show. I don't know. But I don't know about you guys, but yeah, as soon as I saw that supposed UFO, that triangular, when I showed you there, they had it on one of the videos on one of the sites I was on, and you can see the actual strobing. It's like, come on. Ain't nobody going to believe that. Renee Von Oosterhood, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Let me try to drop back down here again. You're probably going to jump on me there, but let's see what happens. 22 hours and 2 minutes Zulu time. Alrighty then. All right, let me just jump all the way down here. So if I missed anybody, just go ahead and write a comment, question, whatever you had. Ricardo, you said Tyler from Secure Team 10 is spot on. He follows doc journalists who has 3 years exposure info. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I'm saying the same thing now. When I started to see that, remember when I questioned and said, why is everything either in infrared or it's in night vision or some other, you never see it clear like a clear UFO? Why is that? Well, there you go. There's your answer. And if you could take a photo of a plane coming in, like I said, he's just coming in. It looks like he's coming in for a landing. Suddenly you change to infrared, and it looks like this blob on the screen. It looks like this UFO with these, like I said, with these weird, almost looks like an energy field around it, if you will. And you could see just, they change it right there while it's coming down. They switch it over, and it looks just like some weird orb that is from outer space, and clearly it's not. There you go. I was already questioning that already. Yeah, MG, but you said that Tyler's full of crap. You know, he's a con artist. Well, I mean, back in the day, I would have absolutely went with that at 100%. I mean, he's definitely straightened his act out, and I agree with him at least on this latest video. I don't know if you've seen it, but I at least agree with him because I was already questioning that before he even came out with that video on the last, Hangout. And you've got to question these things. It's like, what is going on here? Again, why not a regular photo during the day? It's always something that can distort a figure or a shape, right? Think about it. Somebody was just talking about Nick Pope, and I actually got a page on that open too. Let me see. All right, let me see here. I said it did jump on me a little bit, but let's see if we can. Doug Parker's in there. Good day from Red Deer, Alberta. Thoroughly enjoy your channels. I appreciate it, Doug. Good to have you in there. Kyle Harvey, all in Disclosure Day in June 24th. I think it's just going to be more of a puppet show, to be honest with you. Again, to fake this invasion, if you will. Now, it's not an all-out invasion like you see like in an Independence Day, the movie, right? You don't see that kind of invasion, but they're making it sound like, oh my God, yeah, these things are coming out of nowhere, and that, what are we going to do? We have to investigate these. Now, there was one that Black Volt? I think it was a Volt, yeah. A Dark Volt, whatever it's called. But anyway, they were talking about the new video that's out where they had a press conference at the White House, and they were, I don't remember her name, but one of the journalists was actually questioning the woman at the podium, and you can see she already had answers already on, like, to answer it. So they probably said, what's your questions? We're going to go ahead and write the answer to that. And you can see how she was literally tiptoeing around there, and you can see her facial expressions, like she was like, we believe it's a problem in our airspace, and da. Now, I don't believe all of it's fake, because the reputation, well, that's not the word I'm looking for, the reputation, rather, of, like, these captains who are on these ships, right? The ones that have come forward, some of these Air Force pilots and stuff like that, I don't believe that they're fake. Like the Tic Tac, I don't believe that's fake either. I think Tyler even touched on that. I don't believe that's fake either, because I'm going by, like I said, again, the reputation of these other military folks. So I tend to believe them more than, the Pentagon. And like they said, why would the Pentagon want to disclose that anyway? The only reason why they're saying something now is because it's been leaked and it's been being put out. Now, as far as Elizondo, I don't know, man. I'm on the fence about him, and I'm actually leaning towards the BS side of him. I don't know. What's everybody else think about that? Mr. 786 Auto, thank you very much, sir, for your support. It is appreciated. Good to see you in there as always. You said, hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well there, Otto. We're doing okay here. Crappy weather today, but, you got to deal with it. Last couple of days were like 90-something degrees, 87, upper 80s, lower 90s, so not complaining. And let's see, it's like 71 degrees right now. Fahrenheit, dew points at 68, so it won't go down real low tonight. So, it's awesome. But again, got to deal with it, got to have the bad with the good. So again, Otto, thank you very much for your support as always. Noodles uses Tyler as a controversy artist. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's, like I said, he's definitely screwed up in his time. He knows that. The way I look at it now, whether you like him or hate him is immaterial. But at least you can at least say he's entertaining. So I give anybody a second shot. I know people have made mistakes along the way. I've had good friends make huge mistakes, and they're paying the price, and they've paid it. So, and if they're on the straight and narrow now and hoping to do well, then, all the power to him, as long as he doesn't shoot himself in the foot again, right? So, yeah. But I totally agree with him on his video. Like I said, I've already been questioning that, so yeah. Renee Vaughn, you said 2.3 million subscribers. I think he's got like 2.1 now, Renee. Subscribe to Secure Team 10. What a score. If you could reach 100,000, that would be insane too. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because the more people you have watching, then more and more people are aware of what's going on, and that's what the whole thing is about, right? So, yeah, totally agree. Exactly, Mimi. You said it's true that there are more nighttime UFOs pics than daytime. Absolutely. Gulf Coast Prepper, what's going on? You said even Neil deGrasse Tyson said he's not buying everything that is coming out lately. Well, again, if they had one photo, and I'm talking pretty darn clear, right? Because you could see like that supposed triangular UFO. It didn't look like it was that high in the sky, guys. It really didn't. Now, picture that being a clear photo. That would be like super clear, but yet it's night vision or it's infrared. It's always some other band of light, so to speak. It's always some kind of different other than just an RGB photo or a video, just a regular colored photo. Daytime, you don't see that. How come? Imagine that. You have to question it at some point. You do. Ricardo says the best lies are covered by false truths. Ain't it the truth? Mike Nab, you're talking to Gulf Coast. You said Tyler's an idiot. LOL. If he's very smart and very brilliant. He's an astrophysicist and all this other stuff. But I agree as far as the idiot part is that he knows what's going on. Come on, you can't be an astrophysicist looking at the stars and everything else and not see something out of the ordinary. You just can't. There's no way around it. So he's tight-lipped as well, like anybody else is in the know. Just tight-lipped. I'm not saying a word. Oh, I don't believe in you. And if you listen to him talk, he doesn't believe in UFOs at all. Well, whatever. Z Humble Pie said the rotation is vectors of angles attack with magnetic field in the next direction of flight path. Okay, yeah. You're talking about the vectors. Okay. You know, I mean, like I said, and it was funny because even when Tyler's saying it, because you see the two of the faint ones that are supposed to be up there, I'm not buying it, guys. I don't know. The only way I'd buy it is they come out with a real photo. And I think nobody should fall for this crap. Anybody who does is like, listen, you got to just look at the footage carefully, okay? Again, if they came out with something that was like absolutely crystal clear and it's right on the side of this battleship, just, whatever. Then, and they take it and they of course, they glance back at the ship itself and they go back. And this is, of course, released from the military. It'd be a little bit more believable, right? Have a little bit more credibility. And, if it's made by somebody on YouTube, there's a very good chance it could be CGI'd. So would you believe it? No, probably not. Now, so that's what would get me probably thinking. It'd probably sway me a little bit more instead of the negative, being in the negative like below 50%. I'd probably be around 70, 80%. If it was daytime photo, stuff like that, John Ward, what's happening? Good to see you in there. He says, always fuzzy crap. You're absolutely right. Spot on. And that's what I'm saying. As soon as I saw it, especially with the strobe light on the bottom, I go, what is this crap? Nah, come on. I'm not buying that. Like I said, show me a really good daytime photo, pretty darn crystal clear. Even if it's slightly fuzzy, you're more apt to believe that than just these different wavelengths that could actually fool you. I mean, that's the way I look at it, right? Just to say your name quicker, I'll just call you Lapis, if you don't mind. He said, I guess Tyler, actually, was microwaved. That's just the way I'm reading it. He had a bad surgery stomach, Wi-Fi full on. Well, you hope that's not the reason. But no, he had issues there, and a lot of people have that same thing, around the world. So, yeah. But, the way I look at it, like I said, to me, it just, I like this work even if it's just entertainment. Now, like I said, I'm not talking about all the videos he had, but as far as that particular one goes, yeah. I agree with him. Because like I said, I've doubted it right off the bat. It just doesn't make sense. Yes, Vandenberg, you said... Chris, remember my comment of your last video the day you said cover up on these even-spaced rings, glass tubes on Mars? Yes, I do. I think you were just saying something on the bottom here. I was trying to go back up just for a moment so I can see. Let me see if it shows again. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I was just seeing that. Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. And I've done a video about that years ago where it shows, and I think you even commented saying, it looked like something like a light or something reflective, because it does. It looks like this giant ball type thing, and it was inside what looks like this tube, and it has these arch kind of framework or ribbed framework, and it looks like it was lodged in there. It looks like it stopped, and it looks like this thing actually exploded right there, and this thing stopped right there. Now, what that really is, there's no way to know, because obviously we can't go there and study it. And if we had the real photos from like NASA or JPL, whoever's got them, then yeah, it'd be a whole lot easier to determine what it really is, right? John Ward, you said, well, how about the latest radar crap? They don't mention UFOs in the footage at all. These could be jets or drones or a combination of both. Exactly. And because it's taking, again, infrared IR, IF, I'm sorry. IR, I was right for the first time. But it's just mind-boggling that, like I said, I can just change it. It could be just, like you said, it could be a drone sitting over the water, and you notice how it just disappears? Oh, look, no splashing. I think that's the one you're talking about. If not, it really doesn't matter because, again, there's never a normal photo taking of it. And they'll go, well, it's infrared. This is the reason why it looks that piss poor. And I agree that they do tend to look like that. Same thing with the infrared. The problem with it is, I don't think I'm going to believe it totally until they release it, or a military guy who's credible releases one that's absolutely daytime and it shows this thing with great detail. Other than that, it's crap. That's the way I look at it. What's going on, Alien Views? Good to have you in there. He said the rover pics are the best photos of aliens. Well, yeah, I mean, at least as far as what was on Mars, right? It may still be on Mars. I believe that too. Again, slowly go over these photos, guys. You can see this crap. And like I said, I showed that pan where the latest video I just did, in fact, I put out this morning. When you look at it, you're kind of looking at it going, okay, they see all these, I remember I showed you like the little gray bubbles and everything, and this is where people have, there's little indicators where people see what they believe is something different other than a rock. And I believe a lot of those rocks are probably not rocks. It's probably scattered around something that's been blown to pieces, right? So, but they didn't notice anything in the background. How do you not notice that? But regardless of the fact, the point is you can see the rocks and had that round circle in it. Just weird stuff. But when you see stuff like that sticking out of the actual side of the hill, which looks like rectangular blocks, clearly that's not natural. It's one thing to have like a layered rock, like from water erosion or something similar. You go, well, that makes sense. We get that here on Earth. But that's not what it is. It's actually rectangular blocks. Yeah, Mother Nature's not going to do that. Bubbles, he said, hey, Chris, how's it going? I'm doing all right. I hope you're doing well, Bubbles. Lone villain. Laying carpet in the house, smoking a bowl, listening to space talk. Life is good. Again, remember to puff, puff, pass. We don't want to see it pass out. Oh, let's see. Let me see. Great for All says, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield said, if you think they're aliens, you're a moron. I strongly disagree. Well, I mean, if you go by like the Tic Tac UFO and credible evidence from the military. Now, is it possible of setting up these military guys to be in on it too? It's possible. Anything's possible. But if you're a stand-up person, woman or man, in the military, would you want to be, caught in a hoax and then, of course, you're going to be totally discredited and be trash. Your name would be trash. I don't know if I'd want to do that. So are they faking it? I'm going to say right now, no. I believe that they're credible, like that ship captain, the other guy that was a fighter pilot, so on and so forth. I'm going to say, yeah, they're legit. Now, the other ones, as far as the triangle, I'm just not buying it. The one in the orb over the ocean, nah. Oh, no, IR film. No, I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. When you said, not sure I'd call Tyler an astrophysicist. No, I was talking about Neil deGrasse, not Tyler. Yeah, you're right, Pete. He said, I noticed the Chinese have been quiet on the Mars rover. Imagine that. You watch, they'll keep it really under the cuff kind of thing, and it'll just kind of slip away. You won't hear nothing about it. Just like the Russian probe that went to Mars. And I'm not even sure if they even had, if it was just a probe, meaning an orbiter, or if they had an actual lander. I don't think they did. I think they just had an orbiter. Never heard a word about it. All I heard was just like, it was like real kind of quiet, like, yeah, they sent a probe or an orbiter to Mars. Never heard another word about it. Imagine that. Let me see, this kind of jumped in, but Alien Views, you said blocks blown all over the place. That thing kind of jumped here, but let me do this. Yes, John, you said, Chris, there are rectangular blocks all over Mars, like an ancient megalithic civilization once thrived there. I mean, they had all sorts of, shapes and stuff to how they built, right? So when I see something like that, like these literally sticking out of the side of the mountain, how does anybody disagree with that? And like one person actually said, well, you understand them layers are probably due to water erosion. Okay, I get the layer thing. But this is literally sticking out, and there's like mechanical parts all over this thing, and then you get these pieces sticking straight out, and you get these rectangular blocks, not one, not two, but there's like 3 or 4 of them, at least out in the open, and then you can see where they tried to really hide the other side, and how do you deny that? Mother Nature's not going to do that. You can literally take people and just slam their head right against the wall and go, see it, it's right here, and then they still wouldn't see it. I'm seeing sand. Okay. I just don't get it. Maybe he says, I should get me some green tea. You could do that. It is good. Almir, he said, are people start going into space when you shift for density? I'm sorry, for density. Deep state, don't like that, lose power and of people, I'm sorry. Yeah? Well, like I said, I want to see how all this plays out. Like I said, it's funny how... and we're going to get into this more, how they're talking about going back to the moon, obviously, the Artemis mission, stuff like that. Lockheed Martin is now teamed up with GM to make a rover to go there and other vehicles. I've got that also here. And it's like, they're talking about, because they're going to do it like in more high tech, of course. It's not going to be like the little junk buggy they had, which they were trying to save on space, as far as space in the actual capsule. And so it was all folded up, and they pretty much had to put this thing together once they got it off of the side of the actual lander, right? So, but this won't be anything like that. It'll be actually pretty cool looking, but still, again, why are we going there again? Why are we going to the moon? We want to check out some more samples up there. We want to see if there's so we can date the dirt and some of the meteors that hit there. Again, it's the same thing with Mars. The only difference is they're doing it with, it's the same, we'll do it with the moon because the moon was first, right? We're going to go up there and look for rocks. So let's have X amount of missions to look for rocks, cores up there, and dust. So let's go ahead and get that. And by the way, we'll keep going on all of these missions. Why don't we go back up there and during this Artemis mission also do the same? Oh, come on. Now don't get me wrong, they are expanding it. In other words, they're going to make a base. Of course, they want to do that. China wants to put an orbiter on there, a space station. They want to, actually, I think they're doing that on Earth, but they also want to put a station. Was it China guys that want to put a station around there too? Around the moon. Either way you look at it, why are we going there? But now I think it's a different story. In other words, they're finding water on there. They want to be able to build a base to have a fueling. They can create their own fuel, take off from the moon, go back and forth to Mars, whatever they have to do. It'd be a lot easier to go back and forth as opposed to coming back and forth to Earth. A lot less effort, a whole lot less fuel to lift off of the moon than Earth. So they can save an abundance of fuel, but they'll have to get it off the moon. Because what's the point if you have to deliver fuel from Earth to the moon? You're still using fuel to do that. So it wouldn't make much sense, would it? James Craig, thank you very much, sir, for your support. As always, you said, Chris, today at the 7 minutes and 33 minutes of the vid, you are pointing down at what looks like very like concrete entrance to a tunnel or bunker. It's just as you cleaned up the blur and plenty. Let me just make this a little bigger. There we go. And plenty more to see also, man. Yeah, I mean, again, you don't know what to really make of these things. We can only speculate as to what they are. But clearly you can tell the difference between this is natural and this is not. That's all you need to know. And I think people are pretty darn smart when it comes to that. They can tell it's just a boulder laying on the ground and something that has rectangular blocks sticking out of a mountain. Again, you don't have to be an Einstein or an astrophysicist to figure that out. But yet they all think we're just yard apes and we don't have a clue what we're seeing in these pictures. Oh, it's your pareidolia. Don't worry. Whatever. I think they're not giving people enough credit. What's going on there, Mags K? Good to see you in there. Mark Matheny, what's happening? Been a while since I think I've seen you in there. Hi, Chris. I'm listening. Just can't watch chat. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Good to see you in there, Mark. Larry Riley said maybe time travel. Well, they've talked about that. I don't know if that's true, if they're capable of yet. But as far as interdimensionally, I think they're actually messing with that, with CERN and stuff like that. Of course, they're saying they're doing other experiments, but who knows, right? John Ward says, I'm sorry. I found lots of ruins and blocks strewn about in the latest MRO Curiosity photo. Looks like structures were blown apart. I've seen that latest one, and that's awesome. I liked how you had where you had the satellite view of the Curiosity rover. And, of course, you've seen how crappy that looks too, right? Again, they can see a 4-foot swath, according to them, with unprecedented details. That's exactly their wording when they talked about the high-rise on the MRO. I'm not seeing unprecedented detail there. Although it's cool to see that, you've seen it was nothing but fuzz, right? So, they're full of it. I mean, if they were to show you a crystal clear photo of that area, I promise you'd see stuff strewn all over the place. Like when you look at a lot of your the blocks and stuff like that, they're pretty decent quality, right? But yet, where they see the Curiosity, it was total crap, right? It looked like really bad resolution to me, right? I don't know. To me, it didn't look good at all. But the video was very good. Had a lot of good stuff in there. Forced disclosure to Mars. Like I said, a lot of people don't believe they're in on it together. Of course they are. Some of them are being subcontracted to do a certain thing on Mars. Like they send another probe. Oh, we're going to check out the atmosphere of Mars. Why would you need to do that? I think it was the MOM spacecraft had done that from India. It was the Maven spacecraft that did that from the United States. How many times are we going to do this again? I mean, and again, we're there to look at more rocks and dust. Because it's cool to look at the rocks and dust there because they're special. What? Come on. Colin Crowther, he said, good morning, all. Glad I could make this hangout. Good to see you there, Colin. Picasso Diazzo, what's happening? I think it's been a while since you've been in there, hasn't it? Good to see you in there, as always. Rock Hits is in there. What's happening, Rock Hits? Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of evident, too, over the course of years, right? You said Moon and Mars have a connection. I think they know something. Absolutely. Again, you can almost bet. Now, of course, there's no way of knowing this, but come on. Would you guys agree that if there's something on the moon, that's not ours, of course, and it's some other, beings out there that had their structures, spacecraft, whatever it is, you can almost bet at some point that they made it to Mars. Maybe they're from Mars. Again, maybe the solar system was absolutely, it was just lively and teeming at some point. Who knows? When it could have been thousands of years ago. Might have been teeming with life. And this is the reason why we're seeing remnants or what's left over of some of these civilizations. Again, just pure speculation, but how do we know? You can almost bet, like I said, whatever's on the moon, you can bet they had something to do with being on Mars at one point, too. At least that would be my take on it, right? Colleen Barnes, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate your support. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Again, James, thanks for your support as well. He said, going back up. Chris, I don't think they stopped. Again, if they've seen something up there, logic would tell you that, at least for me, I can get funding from, the government. I can get funding from anywhere. If I see something up there of value, I'm not going to stop going. You can almost guarantee they've already had a base there. Probably kept flying there after the fact, even though people were saying, 18, 19, and 20 missions. I believe they just stopped calling it missions. Well, they had their own missions, but they just stopped numbering them as far as I go. Because once they stopped and, didn't tell the public anything, they don't really have to tell you what mission it is, right? But you can bet they kept going back. Probably built themselves a base up there. And they're just going out every day like you would do to your job. Okay, suit up, get in the vehicle, go. Let's go look at this structure today. We're going to pull apart some of the equipment. We're going to analyze it, get the information out of this technology, what kind of metals they are, so on and so forth. I mean, come on. You could bet that's what they're doing. Almost guarantee it. Z Humble Pie says, agreed. At minimum, must consider it. I mean, you got to consider all possibilities unless they sound really far-fetched. But, when it comes to other beings out there, what's far-fetched to us may not be, it might be the norm for them. We don't know. Larry says, Earth 0.1. Yeah. Martin Wolf writes in there. I didn't see you in there. Martin must have snuck in there. Or this thing when it jumped on me, didn't see you. It does. Valerian, the Mac 3, he said, does Mars have northern lights? It does. It's very small at times, but they are there. You'll see like this weird kind of almost aurora borealis like we have here, but very, very, it's not as much as Earth, but it does have it. Oh, I didn't think of that, Mimi. You're right. He said, Chris, they need rocks and dust for their rock and dust collection, or the museum. Sounds about right. But we can have this rock. This rock we already studied. This one we need even more. And every other country should get up there and, hey, guys, come up here and get your own rock. Come on. Like I said, I agree that if you can subcontract other countries that can do it on the cheap, why not? Like India can do it a whole lot cheaper than the United States can. So it makes sense. What Elon's doing, I can appreciate because he's using reusable rockets. So it saves greatly on cost. And of course, coming, re-entering Earth's atmosphere as well as going out. It saves a boatload of money, and big time, every single mission when you can use a reusable rocket, right? And now the spaceship has already been maiden flights and stuff like that. Let's progress. Let's get up there. But something tells me when they do actually get to Mars, meaning an actual human mission to Mars, they just go in there to check out what's there. Same thing they've done to the moon. Again, we're seeing crazy things in these photos. What are they really seeing? And a lot of you guys have said the same thing. You said, boy, I'd love to see these photos untouched, unmolested. I'll bet they're awesome. And I'll bet it's mind-blowing, just like the things that we've seen on the moon, and we're only seeing like a tip of the iceberg when it comes to that. So you can bet there's a lot more what they're seeing with crystal clear, photography. It's kind of like when I did that other prior video to the last one with the Viking lander. Same thing. Now, even if the colors were false, because some people talked about that, some of the colors could be false. Okay, regardless of the fact, it still was better photos than we're getting today. Now, don't get me wrong, they are coming up with some really pristine photos from Mars, and some of them ain't half bad. We saw the one with the copter in there, where it showed that what looked like that weird structure way in the background. But another thing somebody commented about, they said, why don't we see a real crystal clear picture of the rover? Now, they did show one. Remember, there was one, it was off on the left-hand side, I think it was, where you could see the rover off on the left-hand side. And they said, why isn't it over the top of it looking down at it, or a lot closer looking at it? Yeah, how come? Again, if they were to show that, they'd have to cover up everything around it. And, of course, they did the same thing with if you look closely at that, the helicopter, not the video, but the actual photo, you could see that they actually manipulated that photo too. Or it's just superimposed. You can only see just the leg, the ball of one of the legs, just in the very upper left corner. Yeah. Which you expect to see, right? But, I mean, anybody could just put like a ball in the top. Oh, yeah, it's a helicopter view. I don't know. So many ways we could be tricked, so it's hard to tell. Josh D said, I mind difference of opinion with people here. The fuzziness due to the lack of openness from the powers that be are to blame. This could be on purpose, creating confusion. Oh, yeah, I mean, again, they have so many tactics, right, to actually fool the eye, like the dots and the simple grid pattern they're putting over these. I find it interesting. I had one person tell me, you're all wrong, saying that, these pictures come right from the rover with dots in them. No, actually, it does not. It does not. It comes with pixels in them, like every photo, not dots. And out of 100 photos, let's say I looked at 100 photos, you might see 5 to 10 of those. Okay? Maybe slightly more, but 5 to 10. I've looked at enough photos to know. And I know you guys have looked at a bunch of photos yourself. And I know that if you looked at these photos, I think people are mistaking them when they come up with, oh, those come in there. No, what they're mistaking is really, really low res photos. So when you look at it close up, it tends to break apart. But these are inserted there. You can see that they are. So I don't buy that crap for a moment. When they said, oh, you're way off. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I looked at enough of these I looked at thousands of photos from between the moon and Mars and other places too. So, yeah. There you go. Maybe he said, aliens watching us from afar. Earthlings really love dust and rocks. Yeah, yep. Sean Ward, you said Basiago claims that there are jump gates to Mars. Could this be? Israel head of space agency also claims there are underground bases on Mars. And yeah, and like Andrew Basiago, I had a chance to meet him down in when we did the Mars conference down in Louisiana. And although you don't believe a lot of the stuff, because there's another one, God rest his soul now, it goes by William Whitecrow. He was also there, and they, according to them, once you were in one of these jump rooms, and you didn't even know you were in some of these jump rooms, like one of them was an elevator, and when the doors opened up, you literally already had jumped, and you're already on Mars. So you open it up, and you can walk onto I don't know if it's into a base, and then you can walk out from there onto the surface. And one of the stories was they had to have military come with you because there's all kinds of creatures, almost like dinosaur-like kind of creatures, looking to eat you. So I'm going, okay, how can there be that many for starters? Because they would have killed themselves off at some point. Because if there's no vegetation on the planet, which I believe that there are, or there is, so, but I just find it hard to believe that that kind of thing is happening on there. But he does say, like you said, there's a jump room, and of course there's underground bases, which is like, the head of Israel was saying. So there might be some truth to that, but I don't know if I believe all of it, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I don't, and I'm not saying I do. 50-50. But yeah, some of the stories are really, really spectacular, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. Tony DeVerne, what's going on? He said Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong must have crapped themselves when they saw whatever was on the moon, was up on the moon. Well, yeah, and I've talked about this many a times where I said that. I said, well, it's one thing to be briefed on this. And they said, okay, you're sitting in a briefing room, and the guy says, well, okay, here's the deal. Here's a photo from the LROC, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Camera. This is what we're going to be checking out. These are structures, and on the side of this is a spacecraft. Maybe they're dilapidated, they're just kind of laying there, whatever the case is, okay? And of course you're at awe and excitement at the same time, maybe a little nervous at the same time. And then you go up there and you go, okay. Once you get there, though, I don't think you can fathom it until you get there and have to wrap your mind around what you're seeing. Because especially if these things are of immense size, like I've done a video on miles-high structures found on the moon. These things have to be almost 8 to 10 miles in height. Now, you'd say, wow, that's an awfully darn big building. Well, look at the gravity, man. You don't have to worry about, try to build something like that here on Earth, it'd probably collapse on itself. There's just no way around it. And, but regardless of the fact, if they're very big or smaller, what difference does it make? To me, once you step out on your own spacecraft and you're looking around, you're going, and you're letting it sink in your head, these are not ours. These have been here for thousands of years. Wow. That itself would make you want to crap your Fruit of Looms. That's as simple as that. That's just the way it is. Because I think it's more about getting your mind wrapped around it, right? Almir, you said 10,000 people living, working inner Mars. That's what I hear. Again, no way to vet any of that, but that's what I hear too. There's quite a few people working up there. And I believe if there's anybody going to be on Mars, there's definitely people on the moon because it's our closest body to Earth, right? It's our only natural satellite. So we're there. You got to know we're there. So we could have been mining that moon for X amount of years, and they're going to make it look like, oh, it's all new. We're going to start immediately mining the moon for helium-3, for water, for whatever they need. Oh, we got it together so quick because we built everything here on Earth. We just put it up there. We immediately started to mine when they've already been doing it for years. Who knows? Maybe all this time they've been using this as a jump-off point. They've been producing fuel, and they've been using, once they took the spacecraft for these continued missions, how do we know that they weren't using their own fuel? They've been making their own fuel, so they don't have to come back and forth to Earth, being suspect of doing stuff like that. They're just going back and forth to Mars anyway. They're just going back and forth. They're producing their own fuel. They're mining it, producing it, and they're just using the spacecraft they went up there with to begin with and just said, okay, we don't have to bring them back. So we don't have to worry about being seen going back and forth from the moon. We can just go from the moon to Mars, and that's it. And then that's when they built the base on Mars. How do we know? It's a little sci-fi on you guys, but how do we know that's not the truth? Claire Mead, what's happening? It's good to see you in there. Sean's in there too. Hiya, Chris. Hi, all. Hope you're all well. I'm well, Sean. I hope you're good. Let me go all the way down to the bottom here again. Sorry if I missed anybody here. Try not to miss anybody's comments or questions. David Clark, he said, the moon is so littered with structures and cities, I can't even fathom how it is still kept secret. Well, I think at some point, if the average person get himself a real good, and I'm talking about good size, telescope, or they can get time in a really good one, like something huge, and really have a look. But I don't want one that's hooked up to a computer. I don't want that. I want one with an eyepiece, so I can literally stand at it and look at it. When you guys do the same? Because let's say they say, no, sit down at this computer. Okay, we're gonna go to the east over here. We're gonna look at Aristarchus crater. Here you go. How do I know I'm not looking at a computer program? No, I want to look at the actual. Do you have an eyepiece to this thing? I want to see straight through it. I don't want any help with the computer. I'm good. I want to see the real deal. It won't be a secret too long, guys. Trust me. It's going to get to the point people are going to start really, really seeing what's going on. Miss Heard, what's going on? Yep, get your butt to Mars. Let's get it done. Z Humble Pie says we can all agree that this community here is awesome. Absolutely. Everybody say hello to the 4 thumbs down. Hello, 4 thumbs down. Good to see you in there. Good to have you in there. Okay, you're talking to him. Kurt Abana says electromagnetic thruster with plasma reactor power. Yeah, I got a page open for that too. How they're getting that really, really fine-tuned, if you know what I mean. Brian Norton, what's happening? You said, hi, Mars family and Chris. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you in there. Pete Ferrero, he said, it has to have scientists puzzled to why an advanced civilization on Mars would allow itself to be destroyed by nuclear war. Well, I mean, how many times we've come close to that? If it was atomic war, right? We've done some devastation on this planet. Why not? What would be really scary to know is what happens if we said, hey, I wonder if we can actually build a planet killer. In other words, if we had to dominate the planet and, which would be, suicide on their part. But let's say they go, well, so we know we can actually destroy this Earth if we had to. Okay. How do we know that they didn't do that to Mars? We have no idea. Or it was something that they had done to themselves, or there was another outside influence that had done that to them. Who knows? Again, we don't know. Lone Lone says, hi, Chris. What's going on, Lone Lone? Good to see you in there. I guess I want to shorten their name as I always do. What's going on, Kish? He said, hello all. What's happening? Hope you're doing well today. Need to shorten your name a little bit, just a tad. It's a tongue twister. Yeah, Jean, you're right. You said NASA adds simulated color to their photographs. I wonder why. Well, and I've said this before. Why is it so difficult just to take a simple photo? They've done this years ago. Even though it's a different kind of photo back when, the Viking, missions and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. Take a simple photo and send it back. RGB would be fine. Don't have to add colors. Don't have to, false color it. You don't have to do it. Just a simple photo and send it back. Why is this difficult? Because they don't want to do that. Because it'll give it away. Because how hard would that be if they said, guys, here's an actual photo of Mars. And if it's red, it's red. Nobody will have an argument here. Okay, it's red. But it does actually have a blue sky at times as well. They'll tell you that. That at times there's a blue sky, but a lot of times because of the wind, it keeps the dust particles up in the air. And of course, you see this red kind of thing going on. And it's basically rust, if you will. In fact, I'm going to try to find that photo if I can. There was one that actually is basically steel, actually rusting. And you can see the way it's formed. I don't know if I can even find that. Let's do this. This is cool. Check this out. This here, look at the way this thing is, and this cross, it kind of comes down. It's kind of rounded right here. Coming straight down is a cross section right here, and it keeps going down, right? And you can see it going around, and actually is a box type thing. Right here at the bottom, it literally is boxed. Has a round corner at the bottom of this, goes across, and is rounded on the right-hand side. And then, of course, you got this steel going up. This is actual steel rusting, and this is on a Mars photo. What is going on here? That is actually steel rusting away. It's literally just crap. And I believe there's a lot more steel on this planet, and this is the reason why we're seeing some of the red. Yeah. Hester Yellow says, survivors from Mars bailed to Earth and the moon, parked in Earth orbit. Well, I mean, there may be many ways that they've done that, but I believe you're right. I believe, who knows, we are the survivors from Mars at one point. Or there was, like I said before, and I speculated, I said, well, maybe that we had a civilization on Mars and on Earth at one point, back thousands of years ago. And we just don't remember that kind of thing because we had catastrophic events happen here many times where almost the civilization was killed off, but a few of us actually lived and then, of course, rebuilt and repopulated the Earth and back up to where we were going to go. Then it gets hit again, almost kills everybody off. And by then, it takes thousands of years to build back up, or good hundreds of years anyway, to build back up. Now you got to try to get the technology back. How do you do that? You're basically thrown back in the Dark Ages. Everything gets pretty much falls apart. You try to keep what you can. It's hard to, if you were to lose all electricity today and could never get it back, how difficult would that be to build anything? Because you got to refine to have fuels. Anything electric will no longer run. Let's see. Because if you know what trains are actually diesel and electric. So that would quit. Yeah, I mean, basically, you're pretty much in the Dark Ages. You're pretty much screwed. I mean, there's no way around it. Yeah. James Reagan, thank you very much again, sir. He said, Chris, let's be honest. Look at the quality of the photo that you showed from the Viking rover in 1976. So imagine what we should be looking at now. Absolutely. Yep, I've said that more than once. It just doesn't make sense. Divine Catalan, what's going on? Or Catalan, rather, I'm sorry. Yep. Good to have you in there, Divine. Ooh, Divine. And it's simply, it boggles the mind when you go, okay, so if they had decent photography, I don't care if it was black and white. If the quality there is that good, why are we seeing crap photos today? It really doesn't make sense. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it looks like double gauge steel here. Look at this. Right here. Right in the middle of it, you can see this cross section, like I was explaining earlier, and it has a rounded piece here. There's a wall to this. Like this is some kind of weird box or enclosure. See, I don't know if you can see my cursor that well because it's kind of small on here, but it comes up here on the left, has this nice smooth bend to it, goes across, and it goes to the other side, and you can see the other right side coming down. It's got a smooth kind of curvature and comes back down. Like this is a box, but look at the double gauge steel type thing right here. You can see that's actually rust. And that was taken from a Mars photo. Funny thing is, I took this, I snapped this out of the, it was one of the videos that Richard Hoagland had, as he was advertising his video. And I've seen this before anyway, but I don't remember where I had it. So I said, I'll just snap it and I'll just take it from this just to show you guys. But either way, that's steel to me. That's rotting away steel. Just rusting away. We are sovereign, he said. Is that oxidation? Yes, pretty much. Sean, you said, Chris, I love your observation of the Mars images being a lot clearer in the 70s when compared to today's. Even though we have more advanced camera technology, great call. I mean, yeah, it's just a deduction, right? You're going, okay, so we should have much, much better quality. Now, again, we're talking about more of a film back in the day. I think it was analog and everything else. Back in the day with the Viking, you go, okay, but still digital technology, what we have now, again, they could probably see like a flea in a buffalo's rear end from space, and yet we just can't get a real good photo. Why is that? How is that possible? I don't think any one of us buy that crap. Alien Views, you said you need a quantum. He's talking to Jean. You need a quantum computer. Alien Views, crowdfunding. Yeah, we can all use one of those. Like NASA has, these quantum computers. Gerda Bonner says, ancient civilization, artificial pigmentation. Josh D said, now this pic is amazing. Yeah, come on. That doesn't look natural. You can see it literally right here on the wall of this thing. It's actually rusting away. That's exactly what you would see here on Earth if it was just rusting away. It's exactly what you'd see. Yep. Notice how this is almost like in a triangular kind of shape thing too, right here. See this? So I don't know if there's something inside this ground at one point and it just started rotting away when this thing got blown, whatever the heck it was. If it got blown away or whatever it was, who knows? Miss Heard, yep. He said the next moon landing scheduled for 2024 or 2025 is named Artemis. Indeed. She is the twin sister of Apollo. That's right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. They're kind of like relating that to it. And they were talking and showing out like the old, the original buggy, moon buggy, and how they were zipping around it and everything else. And they're pretty much going to do the same thing. But again, they're going to be able to travel quite farther than that. Even though, what was it they said they traveled in this thing? There was like, it was actually pretty good mileage they put on that darn thing. I forget what it was now that they traveled. Of course, it depends on the actual mission, right? But trying to remember what that thing traveled. And I was actually surprised when I first heard. It wasn't like, a mile or half a mile. It was like 3 to, X amount of miles. This thing was way out. I'm going, wait a minute, you're just digging for dust and rock. Can you just find it right where you landed? Why do you have to go way out there unless there's something to see of much greater value? John Ward says, Ricardo, he's a 1 terabyte external hard drive kept in safe spot. Yeah, I got myself a 3 terabyte a while back, and I just shut it off. And so there's no power going unless I flip a switch. But in case anybody got into the computer, they're not going to be able to get into that because it's pretty much, shut everything off on it anyway. Basically disconnect it and everything. So until I need it, then I'll just flip everything on, plug it in. But yeah, keep all the important stuff there as backup. Dave Havery, what's going on? He said 180 days is up in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen there. I'm just curious myself. Somebody ought to get that thing fixed. The U.S. Pentagon admits to possess U.S. UFO wreckage, scientific test released. And, of course, we know Mr. Bigelow here. In this photo, Robert Bigelow would have used a good part of $22 million for UFO UAP research. Yeah. The U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, or the DIA, has admitted to having numerous metal pieces of UFOs in its possession. The study of this futuristic objects will allow scientists to create metamaterials mentioned in the documents, which incredible properties could revolutionize medicine, communications, and defense. Yes. We have, we were talking about, somebody else was talking about this too. They talked about basically metal glass. And it's pretty interesting. You guys can read this. It's pretty good. The U.S. Defense admits to, of course, you can see that right there. And it says, to recovered UFO, derived technology material, and documentation relating to analysis and applications under the AATIP program, or the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Imagine that. Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And that the defense contractor, Bigelow Aerospace of Las Vegas, Nevada, is in possession of the material. And you can see it right here. That it's like a, I don't know if it's a computer image or it's the actual steel, but metal from a alleged UFO in possession of the to the Star Academy, composed of magnesium and bismuth. But yeah, so the qualities of the materials analyzed by the U.S. Defense are extraordinary. They mention materials capable of slowing down the light or inducing invisibility by manipulating refraction, capable of compressing electromagnetic energy, or possessing a tunable resonance. And you can see it right here. I've got it right here. And it talks about all of this. And this is from the Freedom of Information Act, or the FOIA. So they asked for this. And you guys will get all these links, of course. And you can see right here just some of the enclosures. It said metallic glass, or glasses, status and prospects for aerospace applications. It says 30 pages of that. Biomaterials, 32 pages. Materials for advanced aerospace platforms. Metallic spintronics, rather. And now, of course, metamaterials for aerospace applications. So there you go. I mean, listen, they've got this crap, and they're only getting better and better, more scientifically, sci-fi to just, not sci-fi, but science advances big time. I love what they say here in the very beginning. Let me see if I can find this spot here. Upon review, I have determined that some portions of 5 documents, 154 pages, must be withheld in part for the disclosure pursuant of FOIA. The withheld portions are exempt from release pursuant for exemptions 3 and 6 of the FOIA. I'm going, wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to divulge all this information? So 154 pages have been withheld. Gee, I wonder what they could be withholding. Maybe McDonald orders, things like that. Come on. But yeah, you get the idea. So, pretty cool. And pretty crappy that they're withholding it. Hellfire Orbital, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, hey, Chris, love your channel. NASA never takes a rover without a purpose, and you find them. Well, exactly. And again, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Like I said, they didn't wake up in the morning and go, hey, why don't we do this, right? I got a crazy idea, guys. Why don't we go to Mars? What do you think? Good idea? Yeah, sure. All right, you guys put up a map, because we have it all mapped out from these orbiters, right? So you put up the map. Johnny, go ahead and get a set of dots and just throw it at the dot, and that's where we'll land it. No. They went around Mars. They mapped it. They knew every intricate inch of that planet and knew exactly where to set these things down, like I showed you the map, where it has all of the missions, and whether it's rovers, strictly landers, they knew exactly where to land these things for a purpose, and they're all underneath or around these 2 explosive areas where they had nuclear explosions. Imagine that. Now, don't get me wrong, these are quite far apart, right? We're not talking about, hey, it's only 10 miles away. We're talking about hundreds of miles away from each other. Not the point. They're still into each one of them, whether it's far apart or not. There's a group of them here, and there's a group of them here. And then some, of course, hidden other places. Some are in the South Pole. or whatever. Probably found some other crazy stuff down there. So, with that being said, you know for a fact that they're hiding this stuff, and they're not just going there just for rocks. Come on. Now, I think they may be, like I said before, they've seen the structures, maybe whatever their transportation is, whatever it may be, and they also want to know maybe what they were like. Maybe they found skeletal remains. Maybe they want to know what they ate. This is the reason why they're checking out anything for organics, any microbial life. It makes perfect sense to me to want to do that. So you get the whole story, about these beings on Mars. So were they a lot like us? Were they very tiny? And a lot of these things we're seeing on this planet, they actually look small. Are they? No way to know. But like we were talking about before, somebody had said, Chris, how do we know they didn't superimpose that lander, the Viking lander, in that photo, making it look so much bigger, and those are just simply rocks, and it gives you that illusion they're only rocks. How do we know this is in a lot bigger area, and they're just throwing our eyes off by superimposing the lander? Could very well be. I've seen them do that to the Curiosity rover, superimpose it in these photos, and you can actually literally see through the actual rover. That's weird, but you can do that. Almir, he said June 1st to 20th. He said aliens flying. Yeah, well, they're already trying to do that, and I don't think 100% of the people are buying that, right? James Cragen said, Chris, you wonder with the extensive amount of corrosion damage in that photo, do you think they could have been underwater at some stage? What do you think, man? Yeah, I mean, well, absolutely. It's a very good possibility, because if they're in areas that were ancient lake beds, somehow this thing ended up in there. Maybe from the explosion, maybe from a tsunami, washed it into the lake, been there for years, who knows? Now, if it was made like regular steel like we have here on Earth, or different metals added, depends, then yeah, it could rust. If it's aluminum or aluminium, depending on what part of the world you're from, if it's got that with regular steel in there, it can still rust. Now, if it was all stainless steel, probably be full and intact by now, I don't know, but whatever. And here's the thing, too. If the windstorms are as bad as they claim, is it possible that's what eroded it? And between the water and water erosion and air, it's possible. You would think there'd be nothing left of this thing if it was upon thousands of thousands of years ago. I don't think that's the case. I think this is recent in time. Ricardo Petrozzi, thank you very much, sir, for your support, as always. It says, it's great to see some information I read about 25 years ago getting some light shed on through disclosure these days. What's more important is who knew it and when. That's absolutely true, man. You know these people, again, I guarantee it all started with this. Just look at the moon. That's all it started with. Look at the moon and go, wow, man, there's something up there. And that's all it took. Because here's the thing. Even if they didn't, you don't have to go and have the missions first, right? In other words, the Apollo missions. You didn't have to do any of that. If you've seen something on that moon, first question would come to your mind, okay, or questions, who put that there? Clearly it's not ours. It looks like it's been, if it's dilapidated, see maybe it's a spacecraft laying on its side or whatever it may be, structures, if it's not yours, then there's life somewhere else in the solar system. So if you notice back in, I think it was late 40s, early 50s, they started sending missions to Venus. Mars. Of course, a lot of them failed here, right on here on Earth. Some of them failed trying to get to Mars, flew right by it. Some crashed. Yeah, it was just, why are you trying to get there so good, so well, or why is it so important? What's the paramount importance to get there if you don't even have the technology down? Why? Because you're willing to get there to see who can get the information first. Who was trying to do it first? The Soviet Union, not the United States. If you look, they had a lot of failed attempts from the Soviet Union at the time. And of course, they succeeded on Venus, and then they finally succeeded. But regardless, there's a reason. It was a space race, not just to the moon, but also other planets. And I still believe that to this day, that was going on, again, not just, with other countries going to the moon, but also Mars. Again, Ricardo, appreciate that. Olin Creel, what's happening? Hi, you all been sick? Let me try to explain why these were not released decades ago to benefit humanity. I sense more lies, more big lies. Yeah, you're right about that. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better too, there, Olin. It doesn't make you feel good at all when you're sick, right? Larry Riley said, Chris, just in, type this into YouTube. Former Pentagon official, real question is, what are we really dealing with? Well, again, is it more of the hype to give us this, oh my God, we have an invasion going on? And maybe this is what Stephen Gray was talking about, or he thinks there's still one coming up, and in fact, we're already in it. Because it simply doesn't make sense. Again, we're seeing these, oh yeah, these are not ours. Yeah, we're definitely confirming that these are real. Well, at least the ones I believe, like Tic Tac and stuff like that. These are real. Okay. Well, we're going to have to do something about it because it's in our airspace. We're being invaded, so to speak. And how do we know this is not a lot of it is just bogus crap? How do we know? I want to believe that it's not, especially when, I'm going by the authenticity and the validity of these military folks. You have to believe that they're going to, tell the truth, of course, especially when they've been in the military for years. Why would they jeopardize their own, careers and just their name alone, right? Toma Oved. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway, I'm going to say Toma. Is that correct? Anyway, did anyone see that human settlement on Mars? It was on Google Earth, and they removed the picture from Google Mars. I'm not even surprised. I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit. You can look on Google Mars and, Google Moon. There's so much stuff that's still blurred out and digitized out and everything else. And, yeah. Alien Views, you said, I met Buzz at an autograph show, $150 per signature. Might have been well worth it. I would have paid it. Distorted Reality, was he cranky? Could very well have been. Pete Ferreira said Buzz was 32-degree Freemason on the moon. Exactly. He is a Freemason. All you got to do is look at the pictures, look at his ring. Miss here, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, Chris, we need to have you debate with NASA officials. You would win. Well, yeah, you have to get through the screen that they're going to, the smoke screen they're going to try to throw up. Oh, it's pareidolia. It's just pareidolia or swamp gas. But what I think a lot of people need to do is just actually, anybody who's doing this, get a bunch of photos together that absolutely, like the last one I just did, or the one I just did today, where you can see these sticking out. Please explain this. Oh, it's a trick of the eye. Really? Really? I don't know about your eye, but it can't be tricked that easy. Now, can you see things that, if they're borderline rock and something else, sure. But that just sticks out like a sore thumb. There's no way. You'd have to come out with something that's the real deal, that you can see something sticking out of a rock. Clearly, it looks like something intelligently made, whatever it is, and bam, there you are. Like we saw, like that city like I showed in the video, that there is like, boom, right in your face kind of thing. And when you bring out the depth of it, everything just comes crystal clear to your eyes. Explain that. I'd love to have him just explain it. Hello, Samantha Morris. Good to see you in there. I don't know if you just slid in there. Same thing with Mr. Bush Corey. What's going on? Good to have you in there, as always, the both of you. Junvaz 95. Got the old peace sign. Boom. Let me see. Alien viewers, I agree. He said many of these parts look like they've been in a tsunami. There's a float of them. Yeah, exactly. And you can almost see it like kind of like just that one direction kind of thing, or just kind of like splashed over type thing, right? Maurice Faulkner, he said, you don't have to go off Earth to find alien structures. This planet wash with them. Yeah, exactly. We can see that too, especially up in the Antarctica and stuff like that, right? Definitely something going on there. That's definitely not us. There you go, Scourge, 1971. You said Bigelow probably took a bunch of the stuff from Skinwalker Ranch when he owned it, and he won't reveal anything about it. Could very well be, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. But like I said, I've watched that series, at least a couple, about 2 or 3 of them, and you could just tell they're trying to embellish the whole thing. It's just like, you know, because I know they're trying to stretch it out to make an actual hour show, whatever. But you could just see, like, you know, one guy's out there, oh, I got a big bump in the back of my head. Nobody else seems to have it, but he had it, and now he's got it twice. It's just like they're trying to really embellish the thing, right? James, you said, Chris, you are right. They were landed to precision. Absolutely. There you go, John. Yeah, we can do that. So Chris, you said Chris and I have a mountain of evidence ready. Oh, yeah. I'd love to be able to go into the room with these people and say, all right. But here's the thing, though. We don't want to go into the room just with them. We want to go with a whole bunch of press. And I'm talking real deal press, not like some flybys owned by some of these space agencies. Just go to them and say, listen, this is what we got. Everybody sit down, get your cameras and everything ready. I want you to pay attention to their facial features as they're lying their way through it, you know, because you want them to explain that. You know, the only thing I could say is that, can you imagine if you go, okay, what about this? And it's like damning evidence, right? And they go, well, we didn't see that. Well, I'm glad you noticed that. We'll have to go back and take a look at that. Oh, come on. You know darn good and well. You guys have not only seen it. Keep in mind, they're taking photos and giving them to us. That doesn't mean they're not rolling up on it. Doesn't mean they're not taking the rover arm and taking closer pictures and taking samples of that metal. All they do is shoot a laser at it. The smoke comes out of it. They can you can sense whatever material it's made out of. You get the spectrum analyzer type thing. You know darn good and well they've studied any piece that they want to that's laying on the ground there. You know they have. Sean also said, I look forward to a debate with NASA. Bring it on. Totally with you on that. Sean says 191 watching, 124 likes. Great numbers. Let's kick it up, guys. 191 watching. Hit them thumbs up. It is appreciated. Again, this is what the algorithms, this is what gets YouTube to share it. More likes and stuff like that. More commenting back and forth. That's what they see. That's how this information gets out more and more. It's all you guys doing the work, not me. Noodles, you said, now that China has half the lunar and Mars answers, we claim to be alien-friendly, fresh freedom-loving eyes out for cosmic rule of law. And defending fairness, capitalism, and freedom to profit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of wish you worked for one of these space agencies, right? So you can say, let me just see the real skinny here, right? Let me just see it. I promise it. I'll fill out the paperwork saying not saying a word to anybody, da-da-da-da-da. I would so do it, wouldn't you? Just to be able to see the stuff yourself and go, oh, my God. Whether you're doing research in these photos or you're not, it would definitely confirm what you've been seeing or the knowledge you have known for years, it would confirm it. Not to mention, again, you'd probably brown your shorts once you've seen the real photos. Raquel Gelstrom, you said they won't take good photos because they don't want the public to recognize the rubble debris as being very similar to what we have here on Earth. Us humans might realize our history begins on Mars. Absolutely. even if we didn't begin there, we're definitely descendants of people who are there or other people. In other words, we didn't start life here. Maybe some had started from different processes, natural processes, but as far as people themselves, humans, no. I believe we were either part of something much bigger, meaning other alien race or other beings, and we're just descendants of them. Now, whether it be from Mars, which is a very good possibility, or if you go by the theory of panspermia, they talked about how that theory, that still makes us from Mars regardless. Microbial life from there, boom, lands here, life starts here. So either way, we're some kind of Martian in some other way. I hate using that terminology because it makes it sound like I said, a little gray guy or whatever. But regardless of the fact, to me, it just makes sense to say we are not from this planet. We're definitely from somewhere else. Scientific search for extraterrestrials says there are two worlds. The real world and the world of appearances, the fake world. And the majority of people live in the fake world. Well, I think we all live in a disguised world, if you will, right? Because it's being disguised as just a humdrum, like I said, get up every day, crap, shower, and shave, go do your job, get your day done, come back, and you think this is the end-all, be-all. Now, don't get me wrong, there's things in between, like you go out and you go on a boat somewhere and you're taking your vacations and everything else, but that's the limitation. That's what you know as a human being. But what's much more going on is way out there, outside of Earth, and it's just insane how much incredible stuff's probably going on that we don't have a clue about, right? Greg McDonald, yeah, stretching it out just like Oak Island series. Yep, exactly. They really embellish, don't they? Like I said, the Skinwalker Ranch is no different. It's just a lot of it's silliness. It's like just get down to the nitty gritty. Let's see what's really going on here, right? But yeah, they're just stretching it out. All right, Jean Ward's taking off. Good night, everyone, he says. Thanks to Chris and all of you. Well, thank you, Jean. Keep up the great work you're doing over there. It's just awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Maybe we'll get together again. Or maybe you can actually have me on your channel this time. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Guys, what do you guys think? Yay, nay? What do you want to do? Jean's going, all right, I'm being cornered. But anyway, have yourself a good night and a good evening there, my friend, right? Oops. Ricardo Pedrazzi says, Press Club. Richard Hoagland did it. So could you. Oh, yeah. That is a fact. Let me see here. I'm just going back as you guys are going back and forth. There's something I was wondering. A scientific search for extraterrestrials says, according to some people, the moon has a recycling soul machine in which aliens recycle souls of the dead humans in order to send back to Earth the recycled human souls. I'm trying to remember. Oh, what was it called? I won't think of it right now. What is that religion that does? What's his name's in? Tom Cruise is in. I don't know if he's out of it now, but I believe he's still in it. But anyway, they're going back to their, what was it said, like 36,000 years ago, 360,000, whatever it was. They said that, when your soul would actually be brought to another planet, like this hellish planet, and that you would actually be, your soul would be there for the rest of eternity and stuff like that. Really, really bizarre stories in that. But that's what it reminded me of when you said that, like recycling human souls. They take your soul and they bring it up there. Just really, really crazy story. Now, who knows? Maybe back in the day, the humans on this planet believed that because of maybe they just misinterpreted or whatever. I don't know. Valerian the Mac 3 says, I like this chat room. No drama or biatchin. LOL. No, we don't tolerate it. We just throw people off. Because we got a lot of good people here. Everybody's just good people. Everybody gets along. And it's basically, it's like-minded people, right? So this is the reason why everybody gets along. And you can still have difference of opinion. We don't have a problem with that either. You know, it just is. You know, that's the way we operate here. And it just, we just have a good family here. Sean says, hit the like button. And guys, if you think Mars has been populated in the past. I'd like my own video, but I can't. Yes, thank you, Miss Haird. I was trying to remember. I was saying Scientology, yeah. When you just, if you listen to that story, it's like, a little over the top. And even Mimi, yeah, thank you, ladies, for mentioning that. There you go, Miss Haird. You're talking to David. Pay me enough, David, and I will swear only rocks, dust, and transparent sand exist on Mars. There you go. Absolutely. Pete Ferreira said NASA lies are so embedded they have become generational. No hope for a straight answer until the system is changed. Or we got one another country just says, oh, we're going to war with you? Okay, we're going to go ahead and spill the beans. That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? Yep, James, you said the same thing. Scientology, yep. David Clark, he said, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Scientology is scary as crap. Yeah, I mean, from what I've read on it, too, I'm just like, wow. Just some of the stuff that people have to endure while they're in there, too. Just really crazy stuff. Josh D said the connection keeps going off. Seems fine on this end. Maybe you got a lot of people loading up your internet over there. Let me see here. Olin Creeley said evidence is indicating that a human civilization once populated the solar system. I think aliens would be simply too far away for physical contact. Well, I don't believe so, depending on their technology. Like Alan just said to you, what if the ETs travel interdimensionally? Distance is irrelevant, which is true. Let's see. Maybe Reaction said, I guess most of our planets in the solar system had civilizations. Well, I mean, even if we recognize the planets now and say, okay, there's no way somebody could have lived on it, but that doesn't mean millions of years ago they couldn't. The channel couldn't. What do you call it? I'm looking at some of the comments. The planets could have been totally different then. How do we know? Maybe there wasn't greenhouse planets going on back then. Maybe, again, if you go back millions upon millions of years ago, and we had that burned out dwarf, and we had a secondary sun because we were a binary star system, or solar system, I should say, then we had sunlight coming from both directions. And now, again, I said this before, that some scientists are claiming we have a lot more planets in our solar system than once thought. We can see them actually still going around our star. There's other planets still actually orbiting, or there are orbiting our star. So if that's the case, and our solar system is bigger, I think he said it was like 23 planets, I think I said at one point. So I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and listen to that again. But still, regardless, that's a lot more than 8 or 9, depending on Pluto. Like I said, one year it's a planet, and the next one it's just a body or it's a rock. So I don't know. Well, Alan, the way he's saying, he said, why interdimensional travel renders distance irrelevant? Yeah, because if you're interdimensional, you just pop in to, what do you call it, dimensions. You literally just pop in and out of dimensions. So if there's, I forget how many dimensions there are now that we recognize, but you can just pop in and out of reality kind of thing. It's like, boom, you're here. Now, where you're sitting right now, somebody could be sitting right on the side of you in another dimension. All they got to do is just pop into your dimension, so there's no traveling. It's just simply dimensionally. So, at least that's the theory. Noodles, you said UFO disclosure is a public experience and resistance government interference, said Lou Elizondo last night on a UFO Garage Channel interview. I didn't see that. That's true, Maurice. He said you don't have to travel millions of miles if you're already here. That's true. Divine Catalan says NASA will get its foot in its mouth if a human surpasses them in discovery. Oh, that's a fact. You'd be like, uh-oh, we're going to have to spill the beans now. Diamond Doggy said the folding of space, easy thing to do for them. Raquel says, agreed, we didn't start here. I don't believe we have. Ricardo said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dimension up to 11. I think it's even past that now. At least somebody was telling me that last time. But regardless, if you could pop in and out of these different dimensions, yeah, there's virtually, I mean, you just have to be able to just have a machine or something to be able to do that, just pop right into one dimension to the other. So you could have somebody literally just watching you right now in another dimension going, oh, or they're just going about there and they're not even aware of yours, just like you're not aware of the other dimensions, you know? But they could, if they found a way to pop in and out of dimension, interdimensionally, yeah. Oh, who just said that? Oh, Greg, he said, Greg McDonald said, we won't finish here either. I think you're right. Rock Hit says, Earth was a frozen planet once. Look at now, so life is out there. Must be. I guarantee it. You know, like I said, there's no way we're just special on this planet. There's no way. And now it's even more so. And I felt that heck when I was in 5th grade. So, you know, now with all of the proof of seeing these things, or at least the evidence, the strong evidence of what we're seeing in these photos, come on. You know? Steve Gurnham, you said, Garnham, I'm sorry. He said, hi, Chris. Venus was much cooler billions of years ago. Life could have existed and then came to Earth when it got hot. Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It would take a long time to do that, though, right? But still, you know, as they can probably evolve into a hotter planet, because even Venus has a Goldilocks zone kind of thing. Next to the caps, it's much cooler. And, of course, you can get in between the hottest parts and, of course, the actual cap, and you could live, like, perfectly on the planet with no problem at all. Now, and I forgot what its actual orbit is or its rotation I forget how many days it is here on Earth before one rotation on Venus. But, regardless, it's pretty sweet. Ricardo, you said free energy does not come from nowhere. It is gated from a higher dimensional source. What's going on, Les Sweet? Good to see you in there. He said Lou will be doing a live interview in about 30 minutes. Greg, there's no intelligent life here on planet Earth, so I doubt there is on Mars either. Well, like I said, I believe we're just, like I said, we're more or less a civilization just learning how to walk, right? Like we're just in infant stage, and that we are progressing rather quickly. But if you go by planets that have probably been a planet and a civilization for millions of years, and I mean millions and millions of years, then they could probably travel interdimensionally or fold a time continuum, fold space, jump right through it, no problem whatsoever. And who knows? They're probably living right on this planet to begin with. How do we know? Like I said, it could be in the deepest oceans we have. Who knows? And that we just can't get to them or haven't been able to look to try to find them, right? Mimi, I hope they're not watching us in the shower. Eek. Well, just like you can't see them, so they probably can't see you. But the thing is, can you imagine in that same space you're in, somebody else is living their life in another dimension? If that's true, and that's actually true. Now, they theorize that. Now, whether that is actually true or not, I don't know. But that would be pretty insane if there's somebody going about their business, they're doing their thing in your area, space, right where you're at right now, but they're doing their thing and living their lives. Valerian, the Mac 3. I'm not special. Well, when I say not special, everybody's special to a certain degree, right? But I don't think that the Earth is special as far as having life on it. Now, life could mean anything. It doesn't have to be people on it or beings on it. It could be animals. Simple, organics. It could be anything. I believe there's a lot more planets out there that have life in form of another, one shape of another, depending how you want to look at it. One form or another, there's definitely life on other planets. There's no way around it. Erico Dion. He said, why hasn't the Russians sent up a rover to Mars? Or have they in secret? They've sent an orbiter. This is about a year and a half ago, I think now. They sent him. We've never heard another word from it. From what I understand, it's just an orbiter. Noodles, you said, I have had 8 sightings, day, night, near, far, blessed, cursed. No two were alike, and no answers yet. Yeah. Eventually it's going to come to head where we're just going to absolutely... It's going to be all brought to us, and we're going to find the real truth. Olin Creel says, Uranus transparent? Please don't look. Of course, if you say it the other way, Uranus. Oh, yeah. Maxina W. said the Russians probably already know the score and have seen it all. I guarantee it. Like I said, if they've got an orbiter there, and if they've got anything remotely like the cameras that we have on the high-rise in our Mars reconnaissance orbiter, you can bet you got great pictures and know exactly what's going on up there. Guarantee it. Alien views, cavemen and Bigfoot were buddies. I don't know about all that. Probably fought a lot. Greg McDonald says, U.S. three-letter agencies hacked Russia's orbiter. I haven't heard about that. Is that true, or is that just something you're just saying? Well, they probably could. Probably have. Oh, Maurice Faulkner says, there's someone living in a different dimensional life in my house. Have you met my wife? Oh, man. Hope she's not in the room. I can just hear him now getting clubbed over the head. Brings back the song, Somebody's Watching Me. Maybe you're asked, Chris, there's a person behind you watching. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just my fellow alien friend. He'll be all right. That's what we got next. And you guys have seen this is the Black Vault. Pentagon now admits AATIP utilized the UFO. And, of course, it's saying this. I'm not going to play this, but if you watch it, again, it's that woman. She's talking, she's like, I forget what her name is off the top of my head, but when you see the actual video, like I said, it's well rehearsed. The woman, she's kind of chuckling, and there's people around her chuckling that's in the press. And when she starts mentioning the UAPs and UFOs and everything else, they're like, but then when they start getting serious wanting answers, she's like, yeah, well, anyway, yeah, so this is what we're doing. Yes, we're really, I guess they're upping their security because, obviously anything that's in our airspace is a threat. So that's what again, you'll get this link too. Pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Now, a lot of you people have, folks, you have sent this to me, a lot of these different pages, so I thank you for that. And so what I decided to do is I said, well, I'll go ahead and show each one of them. UK scientists discovered a groundbreaking way to search for extraterrestrial life. Now, they're talking about, I think it was, let me see. Are we alone in the universe is the question humans have been asking for time immemorial as they gaze up into the sky. Hundreds of alleged sightings of UFOs appear to suggest that the answer is no. However, this evidence is not enough to convince scientists. So it says right here, a group of British scientists have discovered a groundbreaking method, which they say will help settle once and for all the question of whether extraterrestrial life exists. The assembly theory, they call it the assembly theory, right? A method allows researchers to find complex molecule structures in the samples captured by space probes. Now, they say this like so much. It says it analyzes materials and assesses how many components or elements a molecule comprises. The more complex the molecule, the likelier it appeared that in the process of evolution, a process unique to living beings. So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess they'd find that easier. Now, you can bet NASA has probably already thought of that. And like I said, they already know the deal. So they can't say, well, we're looking for microbial life. Of course, they're saying that. But that doesn't mean that's what's really going on, right? So, unless they're trying to find microbial life now, meaning after Mars had its devastation, did it completely wipe out everything? I doubt it. Because things can live deep in the ground. So for a fact, you and I know for a fact that chances are they'll already found it back in 1975, 1976 with the Viking lander. So, yeah. Mr. James Cragen, thank you again for your support. You said, Chris, astronaut story Musgrave said, if you move the Hubble telescope just 1 centimeter, you will see billions of more galaxies. We are not alone. No way. Well, I don't believe that's the case either. I believe, again, thank you for your support. Like I said, there was one photo that they had, and I think it was the picture of the photo of the day thing on, I think it was space.com. And what they said was, and they showed like all of these galaxies. You can see like these nebulas and all kinds of crazy stuff. And they said it was like looking at like a square on the beach, right? And that's, that little area that it's looking, but it's actually looking at this vast area of planets, stars, nebula, call it what you will, all kinds of good stuff. So again, you're going to say, that's it. Earth is the only planet ever that's ever had life. Stop. I don't have to be an astrophysicist to know whether that is. Now, can I prove it myself? No. But you'd have to be a fool to believe that's it. That's it. There's no other people, no other beings out there. Not going to happen. That's it. No plants, no flying anything on other planets. Stop. You know as well as I do, there's much more than that. Rock Hit says, gotta go. Night, Chris. Night, all. Top bunch. Appreciate it, Rock Hits. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. And we'll see you soon there, right? Ricardo, you said these UK scientists presumed that advanced intelligent life would make these complex molecules. What if the complex advanced intelligence does not need to do such a thing? Well, that's true, but I guess they're figuring, they're kind of doing the same thing they do here on Earth, right? They look for complex molecules, and they know clearly from our standpoint, we know that there's going to be a lot of life that probably produce that, right? So they're hoping to find the same thing. Now, like you said, how do we know that's going to be like that? How do we know it's not as complex? Right? We don't know. We're just assuming. It's kind of like when we see something weird on these, like on Mars, and we say, "Oh, that looks like a structure." No, there's no way that's a structure, man. It's just a funky looking rock. How do we know what their structures look like? Did they look a lot like ours? Did they look a lot like what Jean Ward shows, where it looks like something out of the Flintstones, right? You get this very large monolith boulder with some other boulders or some kind of venting on the top of them. How do we know? Is it possible it had structures similar to ours, as well as vehicles like ours? Some of you guys had mentioned in that last video I just did this morning, I put out, where if you look at that, on the very far left, it looks like a wheel well and a wheel, and it looks like it's kind of smudged over like those. It looked like a small car. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but it had that kind of look to it. And it looks like the body is all distorted on it. And there's more than one of you had seen that. I didn't see that. I was more concentrating on the hill or that mound, whatever it's supposed to be, right? But, excuse me. So, these things are on this planet. So, yeah. But like you said, I mean, how do we know that there are complex molecules there? How do we know it's not a simple life form? And we just don't know how to detect it. If we go by what we see here on Earth, makes sense. Okay, we're looking for what we can see here on Earth. Maybe we could find it on Mars. How do we know it's not totally different? Or it is exactly like here on Earth? I don't know. Paul Godden, I think I've seen you earlier. I didn't say hi to you. I think I've seen you pop in there earlier. Good to see you in there. Let me see. All right, there we go. Yeah, I just checked it, Hellfire. I didn't see anything in there. Gmail, I'm not seeing anything in there. In fact, I'm actually surprised why this thing's even empty. Let me see. I just see what's going on with that. Should be about 8 billion emails in there by now. Sure it's not my regular AOL.com? Oops. That just dumped on me. I'm back to the bottom here. Flux compatible, you guys going back and forth. Valerian, the Mac 3, thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated. Thank you. He said, awesome chat room, Chris. Well, it's not awesome without you guys. I've said this more than once. Just because I made the channel doesn't mean it's not our channel now. Because everybody's together. Everybody's doing the work as well. Everybody's got their, even if you're not doing, meaning getting the photos, enhancing them, even if you're not doing any of that, it doesn't matter. The point is you're here, you're discussing it. It's like a support / chat, of course. And of course we have just everybody getting together. And that's what makes the channel. It's, yes, I made the channel. I upload videos for people to watch, but if it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't be here, right? So that's the whole key. So yeah, it's awesome chat room because you folks are in the chat room. That's what makes it special. That's what's awesome. So thank you again. Oops. Oh, Ricardo, yeah, you're right about that. You said, I love to ask devil's advocate type questions. Yeah, because, I mean, if you're investigative, you got to think of both sides, right? It's got to be, you can't just say, no, I just believe solely in this and that's it. You got to think of all angles. Could you be wrong? Could we be right? And, like I said, we could be all off base, but not judging by what we're seeing in these photos. What we're seeing in these photos. Now, somebody has said, what if all of these are complete fake photos? Well, doesn't NASA or whoever, these other 3-letter space agencies, don't they have to answer to that? If they were? If somebody found out they were absolutely bogus to begin with? Either way, they have to answer that question. If they're put into a corner, that is, because, obviously that's just going to blurt it out. But at some point, it doesn't really matter. One way or the other, they have some answering to do, but they're not put on the spot yet. This is the reason why we don't have that. They're not just coming out and saying it. Nice case. I got second vax a few hours ago. Shivers in hot. Done now. Hope you are all okay. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Oh, okay. So you said, I'm going to check that real quick. Okay. Oh, okay. I got them now. Yeah, Hellfire Orbital. Yeah, I'm seeing those right now. Those are really interesting. Let me go back to where this was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you have to look at some of this laid out dirt and stuff like that. Now, that first photo you're showing where it has that look like that bunker or structure in the back, I'm trying to remember if that's one of the latest ones, or it's actually a little further back where they have the helicopter in the air, showing that there. But these photos have been faked so darn bad. Like when I showed the, let me do this again, get the whole screen. When I showed that one with the structures on the side and all on the front of that, what looked like that bunker or structure, from earlier on the Perseverance rover photos, you can see all kinds of things looks like busted up on the side there, right? It just doesn't make sense. These things should not exist. But what's funny about it, people go, well, there's a lot better photo than that out there. It's a lot better, higher quality. I know, but it's so high quality, they literally painted this stuff out. You can't see it. And they go, well, that's why I don't use low res. Low res is what shows all of the imperfections of the photo. And it shows all of the manipulations a lot easier. Why wouldn't you do that? Max K, thank you very much for your support. Much love to you. You said, great video today, Chris. Awesome. I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate your support, as always, no matter what kind of support it is. So, again, thank you. So, to me, it just seems like, this is the reason why, I'll use some low res, but then I'll try to improve them a little bit so they're not as grainy and stuff. But you can literally see where they've actually went over certain parts of these photos. And that's what I love about the low res. Now, don't get me wrong. Would I rather have a TIFF or something much higher? Sure. I'd rather go with it before I went with that other garbage. But on the other side of the token, this is where you see it more. Now, when they come out with the high res, it's like a beautiful portrait. There's no imperfections there. You go, see, there's nothing there. Of course there's not. They redone the photo over. I mean, they made it so it's high res. Yeah. So I'm just going to shorten your name. They said, Kish said, Chris, why don't you write a book with all of these finds in them? You know what? I thought about that. Wouldn't be a half bad idea to do that. Not a bad idea. John Shea, I didn't even see you jump in there. What's going on? Chris Blake is in there as well? Yeah, Chris Blake, you asked Skinwalker Ranch, what is it famous for? UFOs? All kinds of weird stuff going on. It's like... just weird sounds, UFOs, just abnormal stuff that should not go on in like a ranch way out in the middle of nowhere. Just crazy stuff. Sightings from like what look like weird beings on the ranch or around the ranch. Just weird stuff. Yes, Scourge 1971. Hopefully, when we're on the moon and something artificial gets on the screen, they don't cut off transmission for 20 minutes like they did with Walter Cronkite. Remember that? I remember seeing that. In fact, I don't remember. I'll have to try to find it again, but you can actually look that up on YouTube. When they have the moon, you can literally see these white blocks. Like you can see they're going like this. You can see them panning. Of course, Walter Cronkite's talking. Yeah, that's right. And that's what we're seeing at the moon. But anyway, you can see it scanning over, and all of a sudden you see this white block, like a rectangular block on the ground. And all of a sudden he start to pan backwards. I went, oh, look at that crap. So, of course, it was really kind of dingy photos, kind of crappy photos. But regardless of that, still, there was something in that photo that shouldn't have been there. You know? Ricardo, good one. I like that analogy. This chat room is like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The chat moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop and look at it once in a while, you'll miss it. Pretty much. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Swing, bada, 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 swing, bada. Mimi Reacts says a giant wolf, cattle mutilations. Yeah, they got a lot of cattle mutilations. And, and it wasn't just there. There was a lot of places where they have these, animal mutilations where nice, perfectly laser cuts, no blood anywhere, like certain organs going out of the body, whether it's reproductive, stomach, heart, and whatever, part of the face or the jawbone, completely, like, precision cut. No blood whatsoever. I don't know if there's even any in the carcass either. There's just, like, none. Poor God, he said, my dad watches... the Skinwalker Ranch. Well, yeah, it's pretty interesting, don't get me wrong. They just like to embellish, really stretch this thing out, right? Mags K says, Chris, you give so much, just a wee bit in return. Come on, guys. Guys, support the guy. I appreciate that, Mags. That's one thing I love about the channel. There's a lot of support in any way, which is great. And like I said, I've had many, well, not many, not like 100 people, but I had people, I can't get this damn thing to work. And I can understand that. That's not the first time I heard that. People say, I can't get this done. I guess if they want to give money or something like that to the bottom of this thing, somehow they can't get it to work. I don't know if it's maybe the internet browser they're using. I don't know what it is. That's why, a couple of people asked me, hey, what about PayPal? So I always put that at the top now, just to make it a little easier for anybody. you know, because I know people, I like to give, but I can't. You know, it's like, well. So, like I said, any support's always good support. You guys know that. John Shea says, being squeezing through portals. Well, like I said, I think they just, boop, just pop in, pop right back out. Of course, I don't know what kind of technology would need to do that, but that would be crazy. This is what I was talking about before. BBC News says, masked upgrade. It says a UK experiment could sweep aside fusion hurdle. And, of course, it shows you this right here. Initial results from the UK experiment could help clear up a hurdle to achieving commercial power based on nuclear fusion, experts say. Can you imagine this now? If we can start running nuclear fission instead of the old, outdated electric and crap we have here on the planet, what this could do for us. Of course, you don't want to have a fusion accident, and that could be bad. But, yeah. It said the system, which has been likened to a car exhaust, resulted in a tenfold reduction in the heat. And then it shows a photo down here. Once you go down here, check this thing out. Inside the tokamak, I guess it's called, where plasmids are controlled by magnetic fields. So, and this is by John Lawrence. One common fusion approach uses a reactor design called a tokamak. I guess that's how they tokamak, in which powerful magnetic fields are used to control charged gases or plasma inside a donut-shaped container. And you can see that where it's got the core there, and of course it goes around it. Hotter than the sun. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, we're advancing like when leaps and bounds, and this is what's cool. Like I said, all of these links will be up there as usual. I like this too. You guys are familiar with Nick Pope. I like the idea he's really trying to pressure the British military to divulge this. And I like the way he says that, because he says in here, if I can find it where he says it, he's basically saying, well, hell, the United States used to deny it left and right. Now they're admitting to it and actually letting this information out, but yet you're not. So he's pressuring the Britain, to do the same. So, which I think is really neat. Trying to find what part he put that in there, but we have exactly the same kit as the U.S. government, so I am sure that there is a treasure trove of official photos and videos of UFOs sitting there in the MOD. So, yeah. During his own time while working with the MOD in the 1990s, military pilots would tell him about their own close-up and personal encounters with UFOs. But they typically would not file a report due to the fears of ridicule or psychological evaluation. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You basically, your career's over. They think you're a nut job when clearly you're not. You know what I mean? So, Pope says that what is happening in the U.S. right now is a big deal and not to be underestimated. The UK government was due to release a potential bombshell UFO dossier in January due to the 30-year rule of declassification. But this has now been blocked, get this, until 2072. Seriously? Really? Come on. This is such BS. But it goes on, and you can read this, and there's Nick Pope, of course. Yeah, you guys will get all these links. Really, really interesting stuff. Lockheed Martin and GM partnered to develop a new moon buggy for NASA, astronauts, and cargo. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if I can do this here. You can see it right there. Of course, that's a commercial, so we don't really care. This is going to end in a second anyway. But you can see this here. Really interesting. They're going to collaborate to get together. And now Lockheed Martin, they said that they're basically forefront in everything space. Think about this a minute. Wait a minute. I thought NASA was. JPL was. No. That's not the case at all. He's saying that, Lockheed is like ahead of, or like at the top of the list of, builders of anything space and stuff like that, right? So, let me just go ahead. So, yeah, pretty interesting, right? No, I'm just sure. No, I mean no disrespect. I promise. He said, Chris, can you please refer to us as English? Calling us British at this time supports us woke crazies. The woke crazies. No, I'm just going by what them. I'm just reading what they have on the site. But yeah, English. Yes, we'll use the proper terminology. Don't want to disrespect anybody. H-1AV said, and NASA answers to the DOD. Exactly. They all have their own, their own puppeteers, right? They're being controlled by their military. It's as simple as that. They got the military defense over there and the MOD, and we got the DOD here. So we got the DIA. We got all these three-letter, companies or outfits, if you will, that are either pulling the strings or they're just in on the action. One of the two. Toma says if someone comes with an animated energy device, they will not let out because money will not have a value. Well, no, I don't know about that. I think what will happen is, can you imagine having an energy device like that if it's very small and every household could use it? Of course, it would probably cost ungodly amounts of money. But if they did, think about what they could do for this world. How you can literally, push us right into, like a huge leap in technology and a huge leap into, pushing forward going out into space. Because, think of the applications it can be used for, right? Yeah, there's a lot of areas in the UK and Scotland, like you're saying, Ricardo. You said Bonnie Ridge in Scotland, 25 miles from me, has the highest incident of UFOs sightings in the UK. There's quite a bit of hot spots over there, isn't there? When I read a lot of it, it is. Maybe Reaction said, what is ESA controlled by? German military is a joke. Well, they probably have a higher up. It's just like we have ours. We have the Air Force, Army, so on and so forth. So, but there's always going to be that higher up in that branch, right? So the DOD is pulling the strings here and definitely have a grasp on what's going on. And they probably said, listen, we don't care that you show the real photos because they are real, but we need you to doctor them up. We don't need people seeing what's in these. But yet we can find bits and pieces in here and there, and that's what makes it interesting because, again, it's like a giant Cracker Jack box. You don't know what you're going to find, right? So I find that really interesting. Pete Ferrero, you said the ion engine won't be ready in time for the Artemis mission. Yeah, but see, I have a feeling. See, they've been working with the ion engine. They actually had a lot smaller version of it on the ISS. And like I said, I have a good friend of mine where her son works for a space company who is affiliated with NASA. And they said, and when I asked him, I said, yeah, what about these? And I was talking to him on Skype. I said, what about these engines they're producing? What do you think was the most prominent? You're talking plasma or ion? He goes, look at ion. Look at the ion engines. And that's what he's pushing for. And he just winked his eye, and that was the end of that. And then we just got into talking about regular stuff because I knew him since he was a kid. So very interesting. And here's a guy who works for this company who has a laptop. You have facial recognition. You got to put your hand on it. It's got to scan that. That's got to pass. That's got to pass. Then you got a password to get into. It's insane the way this thing's set up. And, so he's working for something that's, I don't know if it would be top secret, but definitely they don't want it into the public's hands, right? So pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me go back up. This thing jumped a hair, but not a whole lot. David Clark, he said, can't remember what TV show, but the premise was a government agency that follows cutting-edge inventors and patents, then makes the inventor and patent disappear. Well, like I said, they used to, what was it, back in the 50s where they had a car that would run on water, and what would happen is you just put this little pill type thing and you just drop it in the gas tank and it would run. Well, the plans to that car disappeared, and so did the inventor. Imagine that. So I'm not surprised. So they just grabbed all what they needed, and okay, if that's not going to go on the market, we can't have that because, the gas and oil companies are big business, right? So, yeah, they're not going to allow that to happen. Can you imagine? It's kind of like a tire on your car, right? They could make one that's like it will never go flat. I mean, they do have now where they, if you get punctured, it automatically seal itself. But they can make a tire that lasts forever. Why would they do that? It puts how many companies out of business? Okay? Same thing with fuel. If you could make a car that ran on water, you could literally piss in your gas tank, add a tablet, and you're ready to go. Maybe some drinking water. Boom, ready to go. Stop at a beach, fuel up. And if it can break down salt water, unless, of course, you got just a regular water and not salt water, you can just go to any lake, suck some water out of it, fill the tank, off you go again. So, but of course, the good thing about anything like a hydrogen car, it just gives off actual what? Water vapor, right back out into the air, into the atmosphere. So, it wouldn't hurt you to have a car like that. But the thing is, it's all about big business, and they don't want to do that. But to me, I think if they could do that, you could save a lot more money to yourself. I mean, a lot of companies would be out of business if you did away with tires, because there'd be less demand on oil, of course. Of course, if you built a vehicle that worked, and everybody had one that worked in hydrogen, that would be an issue, right? Less fuel being used, less oil. But I think we should. We think we should cut down the demand for anything from these OPEC countries that are just money hungry. That's what it's all about. And to me, if I could build a car myself tomorrow, I mean, I've got a fully electric car, so I'm cool with that. And I've got another one that's a hybrid. So, when I see these people, crying, I remember that. Well, how many years ago was that? It wasn't very long ago where we had gas was like $4 something a gallon. People, oh my God, they were crying and everything. I said, I've always drove my car easy anyway to get better fuel mileage. Try to be like a fuel miser if you can. And like I said, in my hybrid, so far I've gotten 57 miles a gallon. That's combined driving. That's both in town and on the highway. So that's not bad. Most people are like, oh, I had to put like $40 in my gas tank. I said, well, I put $8. And like, oh, you suck. But, I mean, that's what it's all about. I don't want people, these gas companies and, these people getting their hands in my pockets. The less money I got to give them, the better I feel. It's not about being a tree hugger or anything like that crap. It's got to be, although it does help the world itself, the atmosphere, and that's fine too. But to me, if I can give out less of it to these companies, the better we are. Now, I don't know about you guys, if because I know some of you guys live in the UK where you have a lot more electric cars and charging stations, like on the side of the road for crying out loud. Oh, let me just tank up and I'm ready to go. And a lot of them are free, and of course, some of them you're going to pay for. But what's funny about it here, and now my buddy was reading this, we were in work one day, and he says, oh, look at this crap. This governor or this schmuck wants to charge more for registration on a hybrid car. Ours is like $50 every year that you register it. Well, they wanted to make it, like $100, like twice as much for a hybrid. And it was like $200 to do a fully electric. I said, well, they got me on the hybrid, but they didn't get me on my electric because they didn't recognize the car as an electric car, I guess. So I paid the regular as any other car on the road. Of course, there's a lot of backlash this guy's getting. It's like, so let me get this right. So I'm trying to save money and use less and be less dependent on oil, and I'm going to be punished for it. And so what about these small Mitsubishi cars that, I forget what they call it. It's like a little 3-cylinder car. They're getting 47 miles to the gallon. So they're a gas sipper. Shouldn't they be also be hit with a extra, registration or whatever you got to do? Doesn't that make sense? 47 miles a gallon is nothing to sneeze at on a gas engine. And yet, well, those are exempt. We don't have to worry about those. Those are a regular car. So we can't take taxes out of you that way. Come on. It's silliness. Kish, man, gas is $4.59 per gallon. I thought we were bad here. We're like $2.99. Valerian. Yeah, my TR3B runs on cherry Kool-Aid. Sweet. Literally. Man, that's a lot of money for friggin' gas. Hellfire, okay, that's cool. You said, hey, sorry, Chris, I didn't realize those images came down the pipe. I low res. I will fix that and set and resend. Okay. Yeah, because I'll check those out. Alien View says, my bicycle doesn't get that good of mileage. Well, again, anything can be good on gas if you just, you're not just a maniac with the thing. But when you get something, like my electric car is supposed to be an equivalent to like 130 miles per gallon of gas. Equivalent. But, it's fun not to be able to have to go to a gas station with it. So I don't know what it means to open the gas tank on that thing because we don't have one. But in the hybrid, sure. Like if I run the thing way down to like I usually go half a tank and then I fill it back up. It's like $8, $9 to fill it for the week. And that might be anywhere but like 240 miles, whatever. I forget exactly what it comes out to, but depending on the week. Of course, it'll vary. Here comes a conversation. Laird, he said, where does the electricity come from? Electric plant. Now, I know where you're going with this because it's going to be some fossil fuels or some kind of energy being used. And you're absolutely right. The difference is, I might be using that, but I'm not spewing it every time I drive. So, I'm using a small footprint. Keep in mind what it takes for you to fill your car up. I've had this conversation with my neighbor where he's got his truck I think is a F-350. No, I think it's bigger than that. Anyway, it's got the 7.2 or 3 Cummins diesel in it. It's a monster, right? But anyway, he says to me, he goes, I think he's more PO'd about people saying, it doesn't use any kind of, doesn't, have any gases that come out. And like your question is, so basically it does have a carbon footprint indirectly, right? Because you're on the actual, the grid. So, which is a great point. Here's the difference though. What he spends in fuel, I spend maybe to fill mine up about $3.50. So it's not big a footprint. Where he not only puts, this is what I made to him because he seemed a little angry one day. He likes to drink a little bit. So I said, well, let me ask you a question. He said, what's that? I said, you see the size of your truck, right? Now look at the size of my electric car. He goes, okay. How much steel is in that vehicle compared to mine? I'll be willing to bet, no word of a lie, I'll be willing to bet I could pull 4 of my cars out of his truck. And that's counting his engine block, his body, the frame, the whole nine, right? So he kind of looked at me and went, well, you got a great point. Okay, and here's the thing. The car that I have is very light. It weighs about 2,600 pounds, 2,500 pounds. So hardly any steel, hardly any carbon footprint. And, so again, I'm using less of it. Now, I'm not going to argue the point, my car is superior compared to everybody else's. That's bull. But on the other side of the token, I am using a lot. The carbon footprint's a whole lot less. And that's what it's all about. And it's saving you money. I don't know about anybody else. I'm down with any vehicle that'll pay me back. It's as simple as that. That's what it comes down to, right? Rob Slob says it's $2.79 here in East Texas. Yeah, it's $2.99 here. The funny thing about it, remember back in the 80s, guys, if you're around that time, diesel used to be so much cheaper. It used to be at least 30%, maybe 30 cents cheaper, maybe more than that, roughly. And now it's the same thing here. It's actually the same price, if not maybe a hair bit more. Why? A little bit more demand. More diesels, meaning trucks. Of course, trains, stuff like that. So, I had a diesel back in the day. I had a diesel Volkswagen Rabbit. Loved it. 50 miles to the gallon all day long, 5-speed. Loved that car. Wish I still had it. Now put a turbo on it, and you're running around like a madman with it and still getting super gas mileage, or fuel mileage, I should say. So, yeah, I think if you could slice your money, how much you spend on a vehicle and the gas every week, and it pays you back in a sense, I think it's a win-win if you think about it, right? Pete Vlogs, what's happening? Good to see you there. He said, hello, friends. Sorry I'm late. Well, I always say, better late than never. Long Island, New York, it says the Pentagon leaked radar video of 12 UFOs surrounding the U.S. stealth ship off California coast. I don't think I've seen that one. Now, I did see the orbs that showed the one, and of course it just boldly drops into the ocean. But, yeah, I haven't seen that. Pat Owen, what's happening? Good to see you in there. There's people jumping in there. William Finn, you said gas here in Newfoundland, Canada is $1.50 per liter, which works out to about $6 per gallon. Yikes! But a lot of it is taxes and tax robbery, $27 for a, 12-pack of beer. Good Lord. Talk about getting raped. I bet they don't even wine you and dine you with that either. Before that. That's not bad, Pat. He said gas is $2.45 a gallon here in Wichita Falls, Texas. That's not too bad. William Johnson, what's happening? You said gas in California over $4 a gallon. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't, I said the same thing. I said to my wife, I said, listen, if the gas goes absolutely crazy, that's fine. We'll just use the electric car. OPEC and kiss my, you know what? Yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just plug it in like you do your cell phone every night, and I don't have to do it. I do it once a week. So if I spend $3.25 or $3.50, whatever it is, I'm cool with that. One way or the other, I mean, I'm going to pay for gas, if you will, or the footprint, if you will. So I don't care. But if it's a lot less and it pays me back every week, I'm cool with that. Exactly, David Clark. You said my 1970 Impala had more steel than 10 of today's new cars, minus trucks, of course. Yeah, I mean, mine was the same way. I had a 74 Impala. It was a four-door. I think it was a land barge. It wasn't really fancy or anything, but I mean, it did the thing. It had, AC and everything else, and 352 barrel, nothing special, especially for that barge. It'll move all right, but it was nothing special. But yeah, I mean, the metal in that thing, I can make 3 of my cars. It's because the thing was probably weighed close to, it was probably about 3,600 pounds, 3,800 pounds. So yeah. Tom Saracusa, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Toma, you said, has anybody heard about quantum battery? They're saying that it's going to be out in the next 10 years, but I believe it is already invented. Oh, yeah, you can almost bet on it. Speaking of batteries, when they were talking about, like a lot of people are really, they're talking about the lithium that they're digging up out of the ground. That was one of my neighbor's arguments about these batteries. But if anybody's been reading up on it at all, they're now coming out with solid-state batteries, which obviously there's no lithium in them. Solid-state batteries. They're going to go further, charge within seconds as opposed to hours, actually charge within minutes. So we're talking about a 5-minute charge to 100% charge. Big difference. Go further, or at least equivalent or further, and they won't have to go into the lithium mines. So I like that idea of that, instead of like all this tearing the ground to hell and back and fracking and all kinds of stuff. I prefer they do that. So that'd be awesome. And the battery's a lot smaller compared to conventional battery packs that we see in these cars, either fully electric or hybrid. So like I said, technology is moving right along. Anything we've done, we tried to make it better, more efficient. And that's the way we should be doing it. Robert Morgan said, my son-in-law has a Dodge Ram with a 6.7 Cummins diesel crew cab, a full deck. He's got twin turbos. Yeah, now tell him to tune it. Watch what that thing will do. He's squalling tires all over the place. Well, probably already does that, but if he's tuned it, oh yeah, it'll run. Yeah, I'm the same way, Pat. I prefer the old technology, although I like the efficiency of the newer engines. If you can get yourself a newer engine, something a lot better and keep the old car, that'd be that's why you see a lot of people redoing these resto mods where you've got old car with newer technology, like if you had an Impala, something like that, like we were talking about 67 or 69 Impala with a brand new Corvette engine or something of that sort. So it's more efficient, yet it's just, the engine's not as simple, but I mean, as far as the body and everything else, solid, comfortable, depends on what you want. But I like the idea of old school where it's so much easier to work on. You can tinker with it all day long and not have to worry about it. John P. Adventures, electric cars, batteries are very pollutant. Yeah, because like I said, they were talking about the lithium that they're digging up out of the ground, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather them build the solid state batteries, be so much better. And solid state, they're not digging that out of the ground, they're just literally building them, right? So it definitely would be a lot better to do that. Now, I don't think I've seen that one yet, David. You said anyone see the commercial of the new Ford truck towing 100 trucks when loading the trucks onto a train and towing the train filled with the trucks? No, I haven't seen that one. Tamty Girl, what's going on? He says, sorry I'm late. Greetings from sunny California. What's going on there? I don't know if the real name's Tammy, but Tamty Girl, good to see you in there. Well, they do have actual, what I was saying is they have lithium mines, right? Because in other words, where it's more concentrated. That's what I meant by it, Robert. Linda Mills, you said, hi everyone, finally made it. I would just like to say that we are going to need oil as long as there are parts that need lubricating. Absolutely. But if you can actually use less of it, and where our country or countries are not as dependent on it, it's a good thing, right? Prices drop, demand drops, so doesn't the price. Bush Corey, BBC, Big Bollocks Center. Yikes. Julia, what's happening? Julia Galley's in there, everyone. By the time it reaches the South Pole Station, a gallon of fuel carries a $30 price tag. I don't doubt that at all. The further it's got to be brought, yeah, it's going to cost more. It's as simple as that. Good to see you in there, Julia. But yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you live. I was actually surprised when I heard a lot of you guys, because you go by liters over there in the UK, and talking about X amount of dollars. I'm going, man, $5-6 equivalent here in the United States. That is insane. But you also have a lot more diesels over there, don't you? Whereas here, we're more relying on regular gas engines as opposed to, diesels. Now, we do have diesels, of course, but nothing like the UK, where a lot of them got turbo diesels. So, obviously, you're going to... It's all... What's the word I want to use? It's all relevant if you think about it. If you got a high price tag, but every car over there runs, gets 50, 60 miles to the gallon, most cars around here don't get that. The average car around here, a really good one, is anywhere, 30, 35 miles on the average. Of course, there's some to get more, some to get less. But, so our price is lower. So, kind of makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking we talked about this before, Pat. You said, I'd rather have an older 60-year-old model truck than a new one, period. I think it would survive an EMP bomb because no computer in it. No, the only thing you have is if you have a distributor, you do have your pickup coil, which I'm sure could be fried, and of course it's not going to run. The pickup coil's right there underneath your rotor and stuff like that in a distributor. So if the Halifax switch acts up, Halifax, whatever they call it, there's different ways people pronounce it. But anyway, and of course you got the pickup coil. So they get singed because you can easily do that too, right? But other than that, you're right. I mean, simple, ready to rock, drive it. It's as simple as that, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're running it at the time and it's simple and it fries the alternator, you may be in a world of hurt there too. But now, as far as you're a lot less likely to be impacted by it compared to all the newer cars, right? Miss Haird, you taking off. You said goodbye, everyone. Be safe and have a wonderful weekend. You do the same, Miss Haird. Thank you for your support, and thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you in here. And, again, have a good weekend there, right? John P. Adventures. I got a Urban Glide mini scooter electric. Yeah, I've got one. I got a regular scooter you can run. It's made for adults, but I mean it'll do like 16 miles an hour. It's nothing super fast. But you'd be surprised. Hit a car at 16 miles an hour. See how bad that hurts. But I haven't. Don't get me wrong. But people go, oh, it's only 16 miles an hour. That's pretty good. I can almost get to my job like in 12 minutes with it. So that's not too bad. And at 16 miles an hour, it doesn't sound like it's flying, but it's a whole lot faster than you can walk or run. Even if you could run at 15 miles an hour, how long can you sustain it? Yep, William Johnson, Hall Effect. Yep. Definitely. Jerry Lahane's in there. What's going on, Jerry? Glenn White, you said Vietnam War, we had starlight scopes for seeing at night. Was biggest as 200 zoom camera lens. Now night vision fits in soldier's helmet. Absolutely. Right there on the side. Yep. I was going to say that too, Robert, earlier, because you said people in the UK don't have long distances to drive. Well, neither do I, which is beneficial. But if you have to drive a long distance, yeah, you're better off to have something that's fuel efficient, right? Pat Owen said, well, I'd keep a spare ignition system. There you go. It's the way to do it. Pete's Vlogs, you were saying 60 miles an hour on a scooter, LOL, that's fast. Hell, I've seen one that was like 75 miles an hour. All you could do is hit a stone. You're done. You're going to have road rash from here to China. I mean, seriously, what the heck? I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a lot wider tires. It was more beefier. It was just a real heavy-duty looking thing. I don't care. All you need is a cat to run out in front of you. You're dead meat. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Can you imagine running around that thing in the rain or just driving around that thing? Just... It'd be fun, don't get me wrong. It'd be a fun toy, but I don't know if I want to risk that. John Shea said there was a modern car engine that ran on water, fairly sure an oil company bought the patent, and we never saw that again. Well, the one I was talking about, the guy actually got bumped off. Well, you never seen or heard from him again, and all his plans were gone. So car, plans, the whole nine. Somehow he disappeared. And like I said, it just ran on water, and you just put a tablet in it. Boom, car would run. Mimi Rex says, I'm going to bed. Good night, everyone. Stay safe and healthy. Good night. Mimi Rex, thank you very much for being here. Glad to have you here. Thank you for your support, as always. Have yourself a good night and a good weekend there, right? John P., use a helmet. Well, you can do that, but that's pretty scary. Your head would be all right, but you'll probably break every bone in your body. Boysenberry Dracula, what's going on? He said, good day, fellas. What's happening? Jerry Lahane, you said pollution was the main reason. John P. said people do stunts on them. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'd love to get my hands on one of them scooters, even if it's 50 miles an hour. But you make a sharp turn with one of those things. Phew. I've seen people do it on the scooter I have, and like I said, mine was only like 16, 17 miles an hour. Like I said, I've seen them like turn it too quick, and I mean, the thing started wobbling on, boom, road rash. It's like, oh, man. Yeah. Not good, but you got to learn to respect it too. You can't just do crazy stuff with it, right? Yeah, we were just talking about that, Julie. You said USS Omaha swarmed by UFOs, according to newly leaked radar footage. And I'm almost positive I've seen that same video, but I only saw the one. It didn't show like many of them. So I don't know, unless you're talking about that one that had the triangular craft. Now, if it's just been put out just recently, like a day or two ago, I don't know if I've seen it, to be honest, because I've just watched another video about that too, just recently. So, but it's hard to tell, man. It's just... But you never seem to see that. You don't seem to see them during the day. Like a day photo, it's always, infrared, night vision. You never see them. And this is the reason why we were just talking about this at the top of the hour, is where we were talking about, Tyler from Secure Team 10 just did a video, and he was talking about how, and I've already said this in my last Hangout prior to his video, when he said, oh, yeah, well, since when does a UFO have like a strobe, like a strobe light at the bottom? Now, he was thinking maybe it's reflection every time the thing, but I mean, the thing would have to like waver in the sky in order to do that kind of flashing it was doing. And it seemed like it was timed perfectly, like a strobe flash. Well, flash, of course, it was slower than that, but you get the idea. And, I want to see one in the daytime. It always seems like it's always at an infrared level or night vision. Stop. Show me the real deal here, or else I'm not convinced. Now, as far as the Tic Tac, like we talked about, that's different because we're talking about reputable people that were in the military. So whether it be the ship captain or Air Force pilot, whatever it might be, I'd be more apt to believe them than the other stuff we're seeing. So them, I believe those are the real deal. Other stuff, I'm on the fence about. I forgot I still got this off here. There we go. That'll scare enough people. Anyway, David Clark, he said, car and tire companies bought all of the public transportation rights of ways in Los Angeles to promote the need to buy a car. Had an all right of way just down the street, turned into a grassy median. Oh, okay. Let me see. Yeah, well, it's the idea is to keep companies going. Pat, you said all good tech has been stolen from us. Well, it's any tech that will progress us forward, right? And less reliant on the old fuel, like they like to call it, the dino fuels. So, to me, I would rather progress forward, even if it's fusion or whatever. Let's just move along. Let's move forward. Stop the depending on this crap. It's not efficient in any way, shape, or form. It's absolute crap. Boysenberry Dracula said, do scientists admit the sky is blue on Mars, or are they still lying about that? No, they say that they're actually blue skies, but most of the time it's red due to the winds and the dust and being kicked up and stuff like that. But they do have, the sky does actually have a tinge to it at times, as they say it. Toma, you said there are a lot of inventions which they never see the daylight. Yeah, exactly. It's either you hear a small bit about it, next thing you know, gone. In fact, trying to remember the guy, because a lot of people actually do like electric conversions to old gas cars, right? I remember the guy way back in the day where he had, what was it, a little Chevy Geo, was it? He had put a power plant in it. It didn't need anything. No gas, not even a battery. The way this thing would do it is like, I don't know how to explain it. I think it started off as a battery to get the electronics going and the magnets going. And then after that, it just drove by itself. You never heard another word about it again. Ever. So it's like, you just need it for initially for it to get it to go. And then it just self-propels itself. Really weird. But the way he had it set up, and he showed everything underneath the hood, wasn't hiding anything. And now, of course, you'd have to be there in order to break apart the car. In other words, to see just to be sure. But if that is true, then, yeah, you never heard another word about it. Ricardo, the color of the pen. This pen is blue. Remember that? Yeah. Oh, really, Julia? You said the more I'm skeptical on all of the U.S. Navy BS. Well, it's not just the Navy either. It's other forces as well. But understand, the reason why I'd believe them more is because it'd be more, their reputation would be on the line. And I think that they would probably be more genuine than some of these others because, although, well, it's like Tyler was saying that why would the Pentagon want to put this stuff out when it's all hush-hush? The only reason why they're putting it out now is because they've been pressured and some of these leaked photos. So now they're saying, yeah, we agree that these are genuine, but they're not agreeing that, whether they're ours or theirs. They're just saying that they're genuine, they are the real deal. Now, again, who are you going to believe? Some fly-by-night, or are you going to believe some guy that's been in the military for X amount of years? Of course, we don't know if this is all a big stage anyway. We have no idea. Like I said, at the very beginning of this, we were talking about how Dr. Stephen Greer was talking about this big hoax and about this, this hoax kind of invasion going to happen. He said, don't believe the hype. And isn't that what's really going on right now? If it's whether it's our machines in the sky or somebody else's, the thing is they're saying, oh, they can't be in our airspace because they're a threat. We need to look into it more, blah, 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 blah. So isn't that really going on right now? Somehow this invasion, although it's not, like I said, it's not like Independence Day where you literally got attacked and basically killed off the planet. But we're being invaded from other beings and other spaceships, these crafts, and that we're looking into it. Well, we're deep into this now. So I don't know whether I believe a lot of this right now, but we'll just have to see how it plays out, right? Metalhead, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Oh, poop, I'm really late. Hello, everyone. Scourge 1971, you said, yeah, they disappeared that card guy, too. Yep. He might have been written up. He had a very unfortunate accident. Maybe he was taking a bath or somehow, and somebody threw in a clock radio. Who knows? But, you know what I mean? And as silly as that may sound, sometimes these kind of accidents happen. Well, he must have had it on the nightstand and it fell in. Or he had a very unfortunate car accident. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Glenn White, you said, Chris, remember, if the UFO is not a direct threat, the military will want to copy their technology. Well, you have to get a hold of it. Think about it. If you've seen something like that flying in the skies, you want that technology. Wouldn't you do your best to try to drop it out of the sky? I don't care if it's an EMP they built themselves where they can point it and aim it at it, or some kind of other weapon to take it down. I think you would try, because you'd just say, oh, we thought you was a threat, so we took you out. So this way they can get their hands on the technology. But I think that's happened long ago. Stuff they found on the moon and wherever else. Robert Morgan said, all inventors make sure that they have several dead man switches with all your work, diagrams, drawings, notes, photos, etc. Oh, yeah. You got to. Or at least make sure you get a copy of everything and it's in a safe place that only the best friends or closest people know, right? Laird, you said, let's hope the alien invaders don't want to talk to Biden. Yeah. Julie, PSYOP, absolutely. I believe the same thing. And it's sad the way it is, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why I'm saying we'll have to see how it plays out. Because at some point, if it is a bunch of crap, and it's just the next big thing to them, like they're trying to say, oh, it's an invasion, because we don't know who these crafts belong to, so clearly they're not ours. We're going to investigate. We're going to fly around these things, see what they're all about. So it's like a mini invasion, although if it's ours, then it's not an invasion. So it's a staged kind of show going on. So we don't know. Like I said, a lot of this will play out. We'll just have to see what happens. But absolutely, PSYOP, yeah. Black Op, James Cragen says. Noodles. I won't believe they are looking into UFOs until I'm looking out a UFO window. Yeah, that gentleman Ole, he had sent me some photos back in the 40s, I think it was, where they had a gyro motorcycle, which literally can stand up by itself. This is back in the 40s. Think about this a minute. And there was some other crazy stuff that they showed where it looked like this flying machines. This is back in the 1940s. But they literally had these bikes, this giant motorcycle that had a gyroscope on it. So it literally could stand on its two wheels by itself. And this is back in the 40s. Again, this is... a lot of this information doesn't get out to the public, or they just don't choose to investigate and look into that. So the average person wouldn't know that. So if they had this kind of technology, even if it was very large for the time, because I've seen new gyroscope bikes that literally stand up by themselves and you can kick the thing and it pretty much stands up. And it's a lot smaller version. But the point is they had it. So you had it, you perfected it. Same thing with rocket propulsions and different propulsions. You know they have different ones and have a lot better, more efficient engines, not like these Saturn V's and these other BS engines as far as I'm concerned. But said Rob Eberhard, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Well, you too, Rob. Hope you do the same. Yeah, Julia, he said, Al Bundy, yep, poor Tesla. You know, he was basically the forefather of technology, right? I mean, let's be honest. Created AC. All different inventions, flying machines, so on and so forth. They had all kinds of patents and all of these inventions, of course. Oh, look at what happened to him. Died a poor man. They basically came in and stole everything he had and basically just let him rot. That's it. Well, that's what I mean, Robert, when you said that. No, Dead Man Switch is that it gets released to either trusted people copies or the internet. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Make copies of it, anything, and then either store it, give it to people that you can trust, and then either later release it to somebody that's not going to just like snuff the information. And see you later, right? William Johnson said it's the "it works, why fix it" attitude people have. Yeah, I know. Pat, there's a scientist that works with zero-point energy. Forgot his name, but as far as I know, the government hasn't murdered him yet. Well, like I said, hopefully not. But a lot of these scientists, whether they're going to blow the whistle on what's going on in the real world, or some of them, these inventors and stuff, they just seem to have unfortunate accidents. I remember within a 5-year, 8-year span, there was like, I don't know how many scientists died because either they're going to divulge some information or they were on the cusp of designing something and somehow they had plane crashes right in the middle of cities, car crashes, all kinds of weird stuff happening. It's not like they were super old. They were, in their 40s or something like that, and somehow, boom, yeah. Yep, Julia. Yep, Gyro Harley. Heavy, man. Well, if you've seen the size of the thing, it's huge. It's probably twice the size of any regular bike out there. And I mean like motorcycle type thing. But insane, but cool when you see that thing. It's just, wow. I don't know why that message was retracted, Terry. Terry Kelling. His message was retracted. Not sure what that's about, but yeah. William Finn, you said, how long before full disclosure? I'm sure mankind can handle the truth. It's just BS holding us back from advancing. Big oil and big tech, and the elites will lose millions. Well, I mean, if you come out with new technologies that better the human race, then we move forward. But if you're just going to keep holding back this stuff, and only the military can have it, well, then we, the people, are going to stay stagnant. We're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to stay the way we are. It's ridiculous. And think about if there was, when we were just talking about Tesla, picture him like prospering, got his patents out there, built this stuff. Can you imagine where we'd be today? Oh, we'd be so much further. And if we could put aside our petty BS with other countries, and because it's all about, how much oil I can get, and the resources of the planet, and all kinds of course, there's other BS that goes involved, because we got like these Rockefellers of the world, the people that really own this planet. You've got to look at that point too, man. It's like they're doing their thing, and they're just going, you know what, the average person, let them just do their thing. Let them be the slaves that they are to life and to their lives. And we're just going to do our thing. We'll just keep them happy just enough to, make sure they're fed and everything else. But we'll do our thing. And that's basically what it comes down to. Valerian, you said, don't invent something new. They'll get rid of you. In a nutshell. Linda Borman, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I said, hey, Chris. Hey, everyone. Big Al says, howdy. What's going on, Big Al? That's true, too. Noodles, you said, not all Tesla types brainiacs. On all 200 billion local worlds in the galaxy, we're stopped by. Yep, you're right about that. Yep. Leonard Shawhammer, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. I love to pair with a thumb. Bam. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Exactly, Jenny Todd. You said Rothschilds. Well, I was going to say that too. Also own this planet. Yeah, it's banks, and the richest of the rich, and these people who basically own this planet. That's what it comes down to. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, they're stifling the human race. We could be so much more ahead. We could probably already have a base, and what I mean by that, I think we already are on Mars and the moon, but we'd also have a civilization already on the moon and Mars, right? James Cragen, thank you again for your support. It is appreciated, sir. He said, Chris, we should not forget about the thousands of sightings and the thousands of documented evidence hidden from the public, plus the thousands of stories of ancient history that are written in stone, man. Yeah, you're right. Because even the ancients talked about UFOs and things flying in the sky. Those I'd believe more than I would believe now. Because back then, they didn't have helicopters. They didn't have airplanes. They didn't have all kinds of stuff like that, right? They had nothing flying in the sky except for birds and insects. So if you've seen something like that come out of the sky, and we've said this before, I've talked about this before. Again, if I'm back in ancient times and I see something come out of the sky and land, and people that look very similar to me come out of it, I'm going to think of them as gods. I'm going to bow down to them. You know what I mean? This is where you get these cargo cults come from. We talked about that before. So when you see this, you're more apt to believe it because it's something they found of paramount importance to either write in Sanskrit, photos, or not photos, but pictures, all kinds of stuff like that. They did their own way of recording it because they felt it was important to do so. Now, when you see it now, it's like any run-of-the-mill. You see a video on there, you don't know if it's CGI today or if it's real deal. That's the sad part. Back then, when there's nothing in the skies, again, like unless there's birds or bugs or something, you're just like, wow, what is that? Clearly, they seen something that they found was important to write about. You know what I mean? So it just makes more sense. Z Humble Pie says, hit the like button, everyone. Bam, slam it down, guys. We can make the 200. We're at, like, what, 189? Is that what it says? We got this. Hit it over it. Odds of Crash, he said, me too, Chris. Kyle Harvey says, Chris, absolutely right. Oh, yeah. Valerian, he said, Egyptian battery. Yep. Got that there. And, of course, they basically built a small model of that, remember? Where they basically, I think it was it lemon juice or grape juice? Basically the acidic, the acids and stuff like that, and made a small battery. So that was pretty interesting. And can be replicated. Valerian, you said, what if you saw an alien now? Do you mean the craft itself or an actual alien? If it's a craft, I'd be like, well, there they are. There we go. Now, of course, you'd have to discern whether it's ours, or you'd have to come up with, look at the thing. Okay, is that ours, something that's ours, or is it something that's otherworldly? That's a big difference. So we'd have to say, okay, well, first of all, it'd be interesting regardless, because if it hovered over your house, you'd probably crap yourself. Now, if it was an actual alien and it looked a lot like you and I, maybe not so freaked out. Now, if it came out and looked like some kind of reptile or something like that and wanted to eat me, then I'd probably be afraid, yes. That wouldn't be good. Now, if they come out and they were friendly and they're saying, hi, we're from somewhere, we mean you no harm, and you can literally sit down and have a conversation with them, I don't see any harm in that. But chances are they're not going to just talk to the commoner, if you will. Like, well, he looks like a snack. Or we just don't have time. That's the way I look at it, right? David Clark says, "What? 200 likes. I know you guys could do it. I know there's more of them in there. You guys are awesome." Like I said, every time, anytime if you watch a video, just hit the thumbs up because, again, it's the algorithms of YouTube. It helps get this video out and more people see it. And that's what it's all about. To get more people to get on board with this and they can see this for themselves. Now, I've had people come on here tell me the same thing. They go, one guy said, how did he put it? Man, at first I thought this guy was full of crap until I went, oh my God, this guy is actually the real deal. Because when he saw it himself, because if he probably read the title and went, whatever, I'll just watch it. This guy's got to be out of his mind. And then when he saw it himself, he went, oh my God, this guy's spot on. He's right. They get to see it for themselves. And so even if you're doubting, and there's nothing wrong with being a doubtful or skeptical, there's nothing wrong with that. I think everybody should be skeptical, but have an open mind to boot. I know they're not synonymous, but that's not the point. If you want to say, okay, I believe anything is possible outside of the realm of Earth, because there's probably things we will never understand or can't understand, but I don't want to go too far-fetched, like, whatever, go off the deep end. So you want to have that in control a little bit, but you still want to be an open mind, right? Odds of Cross says, help spreads the message. Absolutely. And I got you guys to thank for that, because I know a lot of you guys put it on like Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. And that's what it's all about, right? Now, mine automatically goes up on Twitter, but if you guys share it, of course, it helps a great deal. Whether it's Facebook or anything, I know there's big groups in there. Scratch, you said the pyramid UFO they showed is ours, I'm sure. Never seen a UFO with anti-collision lights before. Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about before. It has some strobe lights on the bottom. I talked about that last Hangout. There's no way that's ours. You know, I mean, that's not somebody else's. That's ours. And I don't believe that for a moment. But you would think if our government built it ourselves, they wouldn't want to have those lights. So you know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's like you go, okay, if I'm the military or the higher ups and I'm building this thing, I want it to be as human-like as possible. In other words, I don't want strobe lights on it. I don't want it to indicate it's any kind of craft that we have, so on and so forth, and yet we do. So not sure what's up with that and which way that's going, but you get the idea, right? Like I said, I'm 50-50 on that, and like I said, time it'll play out. We'll see what's going on. I never did see that. You guys are talking about Paul, that movie Paul. Never seen that. You're saying, John Jay was saying all films pretty much are about evil aliens except Paul. Yeah, I never seen that. It looks pretty funny, though. Richard, you said when I was at high school in late 80s, early 90s, we used to joke about the nuclear hand grenade, but with bear can-sized nuclear batteries powered Mars rovers, it does seem plausible these days. Oh, sure. Well, you know what? Technology comes smaller components. You know that, right? So, you know, anything's possible. I mean, a lot of these satellites we have out in space are nuclear powered. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but they're nuclear powered. This is the reason why they can stay out there that long. It's not just so much solar as because they have to be able to charge, but some of them, a lot of these things are nuclear. Well, they got a power source like that. Robert Morgan, thank you very much for your support, sir. It is appreciated. You said Happy Memorial Day. Please remember the troops. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll say the same thing to everybody else today. I hope everybody has a good Memorial Day. I'll be working that day, which is fine with me. Show me the money. If I'm going to work it, I might as well get paid for it, right? But so, the same thing to everybody else here. And you too, Robert. Hope everybody has a good Memorial Day. And if you had somebody in the military, thank them for us and let them know that they are appreciated. And if they're not still with us, then, say a prayer for them. But again, Robert, thank you very much for your support. John Shades, he said it's the indoctrination over years to think aliens will be evil. Well, that's because of Hollywood, right? Just about every movie you watch has got to do with some kind of alien invasion, and we're going to be all killed off, right? So, kind of makes sense. Oops. Hey, Jay McGuffey, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Hi, I'm Mars Anomalies and Beyond, folks. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is well. I'm well. I hope you're doing good there as well, Jay. Good to have you in there. Even if it is towards the end, but yeah, we're not there yet, but glad to have you in there. Elaine Millard, you said you're talking to John Shea, but you said so many alien baddies in films, although we were the baddies in Avatar. Yeah, that movie was awesome, right? That was just a really, really good movie. And what we're doing to that planet, it makes me wonder, imagine if we'd done that to Mars, but only nuked them instead. Think about that. And if they were, and it's a hypothetical, if they were small beings, what kind of threat would they be to us? Think about that. What kind of threat would they be? If you're looking at a planet going, okay, let's suppose, and we have a good inkling that Mars is much more habitable than what NASA and all these other space agencies, are saying, then if you think about that, and you could live on Mars with no problem and build a civilization, well, these people we'll just get rid of them. Oops, we don't know what happened to them. How do we know? How do we know it wasn't us that did that to that planet? trying to think what you guys are talking about here. Oh. I'm just looking at you guys commentate. You're going back and forth, so let you do your thing. But no, this thing jumped on me a bit. Shh. What's going on, Michael Stark? Good to see you in there. So what's up, Chris? Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're doing well, Michael. Good to see you in there. David Clark says, laughter is the underrated superpower. Absolutely. Yep. Got to have it. Gots to have it. In this world being too serious, nope. Scratchy said, I made a video of an object in a flashing type energy, and if I hadn't been using a near infrared scope, I wouldn't have seen it either. Well, that's true. So again, it's on this weirdness where had that triangular shaped craft been in the daytime, would it have been a strobe light? Would have been something else? Would have been energy, some kind of propulsion? We don't know. That's why I said I would love to see this thing, one of these crafts, in the daylight. I don't want to see it through infrared. I don't want to see it through night vision. I don't want to see it through any of that crap. Show me a normal photo, and then I'll believe it. So right now I'm 50-50 on the fence. I'm not saying all of them are BS. Don't get me wrong, because I believe that we are being visited from other beings out there, and I think that, and I think it's very possible. So I'm down with the idea of that. Pat Owen says, love Avatar. Yep. The second one's coming out. It's supposed to be even more awesome. William Finn, you said when they reveal tidbits of info on UFOs, somebody has to ask government why they have been lying to us all these years. Well, that's the thing. Have they ever done that? Instead of going, listen, guys, you knew these things were around for years. Why are you just now letting the cat out of the bag? Because it got leaked? Really? Instead of just telling the public the real truth? Come on. Jay McGovey just caught the ends. No traffic now as everyone is in the pub. Man. Well, it is a Friday night after all, right? Young Troy, I'm high as on mushrooms right now. Go easy now. You want to be able to remember this evening. Mick Gus, what's going on? I didn't even see you in there. Must have snuck in there. So have a good weekend, everyone. Take care and stay safe. You do the same, Mick. Hope you have yourself a great weekend there, right? Evan B., he said, can I get you 2 cents on the John Brandenburg's book, Death on Mars? Well, I mean, he's the one that made the announcement because they had done research into these 2 nuclear explosions on Mars, on midair, is like in the lower atmosphere. He's the one that done a whole PDF on that stuff. In fact, I might even add it to in the description once this live feed is over. I'm going to try to get all these links up there, and we'll go from there. But I'll add it on there because somebody asked me on one of the comments there on this video today or yesterday's where they said, you said something about nuclear explosions. Where did you get that from? And, of course, I gave them the link. And, of course, I read up on it and everything. Because everything from radioactive isotopes, and, of course, it was in the Cydonia Mensa area, of course, the other area there. So these things it's been known. In fact, they had the Maven spacecraft go into the lower atmosphere of Mars and actually sniff the atmosphere. I believe it found traces of it, but also the Curiosity rover did. So, and if you look at the Curiosity rover where it is on the map, keep in mind the prevailing winds were going southeast from these areas. And where's the actual rover? It's southeast from these areas, at least from the one from Cydonia Mensa area, or the Cydonia region. And that one, there's a larger explosion. So these guys, like I said, all these crafts, landers, and rovers, they're all in a spot where it's just south of these two explosions. It's not a secret. It's not even a surprise that they've done that. They knew exactly what to do. Well thought out trips and missions. They knew exactly where to land these things, and that's why they're there. Pat Owen says Fifth Element was good. Yes, it was. Absolutely. Julie says, peace out, everyone. It's been real. Bye. I happen to be privileged enough to be in on the fact that we have been visited on this planet. Even the UFO phenomenon, is real. Edgar Mitchell. Yes. Edgar Mitchell was awesome. It's a shame he's still not with us, but his team were, like I said, we discussed this before, were really researching into this, and he absolutely knew it. He knew we were being visited, and of course, being in a mission himself, I think more than one mission actually, that he knew what was going on. He just kind of put it in a way where, like, he was doing his own research so he could put out his own knowledge of these UFOs, as opposed to saying, oh, yeah, we've seen these things on the Apollo mission, so yeah. No, he didn't do that. But he was very brilliant near the end, and he was a very brilliant guy anyway. I didn't realize he had a team of these people working on different things and different experiments, but he was. So, yeah, no doubt. But, Julia, good to have you in there. Good to see you in there, and you have yourself a good evening, and we'll talk soon there, right? Ricardo, he said, hey, Chris, as always, been a pleasure to hang out with you and everyone on the chat. I have to call it a night. We're going to be doing the same, by the way, as I am up early in the morning, and it's after 1 now for me. Yeah, no doubt. I hear you there, Ricardo. Well, anyway, bro, you have yourself a good night, good weekend. We're going to be jumping off this as well. Got some things I got to do before I hit the crib. I got to work tomorrow as well. So, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I don't mind it. It's all good, I guess. But, like I said, Ricardo, thanks for your support. As always, like everybody else here does in here, one way or the other. It's just awesome that people do what they do, and I appreciate every one of you. You guys know that. Let me get off this here. I was actually going to do this here. I was actually going to show you this this gigapan real quick, and some of these small stones, and I've done videos on this itself. I'm going to zoom right into this because this is interesting. These stones here, just the shape of these things. Look at this one here, right in the middle of the screen. Look at the curvature of this thing. Sharp edge, goes to the back, comes around, raises, kind of stretches out in the back, goes across, and then comes back in, symmetrical as all hell. Oh, the block in the background, right there. Right there, you can see that, the way that's like carved. It's like an arch type block in the back, and of course it's long, goes into the background. This looked like almost some kind of steel face. You can see the eye, the mouth, the head itself, and it's kind of like, if you tilt your head to the right, you can kind of see it. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it kind of has that look. Just these alone, and I've done a video on this. Look at this block. Look at the corners on it. Crisp. But yet, guess what, guys? They're running over this stuff. That's what's crazy. Because look, guess what? Let's back out. Look at the size of the wheels. Now, from what I understand, they're 15 inches wide, 20 inches in circumference. So you get the idea. They're literally running over this stuff. But why? That right there is intelligently carved. But they're very small. Very small. You could probably pick it up with 2 fingers. But there they are. This one right here, if you look at this in this dark rock right here, it almost looks like it has a face of or a carved animal in it. It has like a head right here. What looks like 2 ears sticking up. The eye right here. The neck right here. And then the body of it. You guys see that? Of course, this might be the pareidolia thing kicking in, but it is. I have done a video on this very thing, And just crazy. Look at this block or whatever this is right in front of it. It has this weird, almost looks like an end of a wrench type thing. You can see it right there. Or as you guys call it in the UK, a spanner. But you can see that right there. But to me, that's just right there alone. Look at that. Just nice and crisp carved stone, man. And like I said, they're being run over. Here's another one here. You got to look good at this one now. Look at the way this block is right here. Oh, this face of this stone right here going like this. It's like it's rounded here. Looks like it has a point in the middle, one at the very top or the end of that, and has a squared off piece right here in the front, towards the front of it, right there. But you can see the shape of that thing. Right there. And yet these are not very big at all. Again, there's a rover treads right there, the wheels from the Curiosity rover, and they're like 15 inches in width. So if you just kind of eyeball this one right here, because this is not the full wheel mark, you can just see a little bit of it. But again, 15 inches, how big is this thing? 3-4 inches? So, but the fact is they're running over the stuff. And this is another reason why you say, well, maybe these people on this planet were actually small. I don't know. But I figured I'd throw that right by you guys while we're getting off of this thing. Back down to here. Okay, let me jump right back down where it was. James says, Chris, man, and everyone tonight, great hangout again. So take care and be safe, and we will talk soon, my friends. Absolutely, James, we will. All you folks in there, ladies and gents, everybody have themselves a great night, great weekend. Always a pleasure to join you guys. Like I said, I look forward to it. I make sure I actually get a little bit of a rest so we can get in there and do our thing and just have a great time in here, as we always do. I know there's a lot of newcomers in here. Thank you for joining us as well. Hope you subscribed as well. And anybody who hasn't hit the thumbs up, please do so before you leave. And like I said, thank you for all the support. You guys are awesome. Again, any kind of support is awesome support from you guys. And you are what makes the channel. So I'm very thankful. And I mean that. So, but I'm going to bid everybody adieu, and I'm going to jump on off this thing. Everybody have themselves a great night. And what is it right now? 19? At 19 past the hour. So we'll go until, well, my time is 8:30 Eastern time. So I'm going to go right to the 30 on this. So another extra 10 minutes for you guys to chit chat. Everybody be kind to each other. Be good. Be safe. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.